As I focus on keeping the flow of mana steady, my nerves fray at the edges. I glance anxiously at Eris. And what color is it? I ask, hesitant, like I'm afraid of the answer. Eris narrows her eyes, examining me with a thoughtful expression. A moment passes. It's red, she finally says. Oh, so it's fire, then. I mumble, trying to sound excited, but feeling a subtle pang of disappointment. Red is my favorite color, but fire magic? It's just so loud, brash. The look at me of elemental spells. There's no mystery to it, no elegance. Totally unfitting for a delicate and charming catgirl like me. I was hoping for something more enigmatic. Darkness, maybe, or space-time. But hey, I can't complain. I can use magic. That's more than most people can say. The 8 elemental colors are well known. Fire, red. Water, blue. Earth, brown. Wind, green. Space, silver. Time, purple. Light, yellow. Darkness, black. Simple, neat. Everything in its box. Then Aerys frowns, leaning in closer. No, it's red, but not fire red, she says slowly. It's the color of blood. A chill slithers down my spine. Be blood. I echo, my voice tight. Blood red. That's not a normal attribute. That's not even in the books. Am I some kind of vampire? A demon? A cursed reincarnator with a terrible destiny? I gulp. Okay, sure, I used to fantasize about being a demon lord back when I still thought that was cool. But now? That's a hard pass. What if Eris thinks I'm creepy? What if she backs away? What if I turn out to be some forbidden magic disaster girl? Is that bad? I ask quietly, ears drooping, tail curling in around me. Eris smiles gently, shaking her head like she's already read my thoughts. Of course not, silly. It's just rare. Unique. Honestly, I think it's kind of cool. Phew. I exhale, tension melting from my shoulders. My tail flicks again, lighter now. She doesn't think I'm a freak. That's everything. Come to think of it, I have read about rare magic anomalies. People whose mana color doesn't match any known element. There's even a name for it, something weird and long. Sonder, something, I mumble. Eris laughs softly. Sondesgeist, a unique mana bearer. Yes, that, I say brightly, even though the word sounds like a sneeze and a foreign curse mashed together. Magic doesn't always follow the rules. Just like colors blend and shift, mana can too. That's why Eris is magic. While purple isn't time, it's something darker. Something like a midnight eclipse. That makes me wonder. Hey, Eris, your mana. It is darkness, right? Yep. All dark. All the time, she says with a smirk. So you're a Sondesgeist too? Guilty as charged, she winks. Uh-huh. I knew it. Mana's not a rigid box. It's a spectrum. So if my mana is the color of blood, then what is my element? Before I can chase that thought further, I bounce in place. Eris, show me your magic. Haha, no. Come on. She refuses with a grin. So I pout. I give her the full sad cat treatment. Ears down, tail droop, big, sparkly eyes. But she remains heartlessly immune. I huff, arms crossed. She chuckles. Anyway, she says, smoothly redirecting the conversation. Your unique mana signature might help Carlagen find something in the guild database. All right, I perk up, remembering what the old lizard had said earlier. If my mana's this rare, maybe my identity's tied to it. Maybe I'm not just some lost nobody. I could be important. As if summoned by that thought, the door creaks open. Carlagen steps in, punctual as ever. His scaled cloak rustles like dry leaves. Oh, is it time already? Eris asks. Indeed. Business hours are done. We can begin the ID process, he replies. Perfect. Eris grins. Oh, and did you know Felicia here shattered a world record? Carlagen arches a scaly brow. Oh, what kind of record? I puff my chest a little, unable to contain my pride. She sensed mana and formed her core in under an hour, Aerys says proudly. Carlagen lets out a low whistle. Remarkable. If only we could register you properly, you'd be famous. Damn it, right? No ID. No ID means no fame. No guild rewards. No glory. Aerys bumps her shoulder against mine. Maybe next time. Maybe, I mutter. Carlagen steps closer. Before we proceed, Could you show me your mana core? I may be able to sense its nature. Sure. I settle into a meditative posture, focusing inward. Warmth gathers in my chest, the now familiar hum of mana blooming from my core. Carlagen doesn't see or hear mana. Being a lizard furin, he tastes it, which means, wait, oh no, is he going to lick me? I barely have time to panic before he flicks his tongue through the air, tasting the ambient flow. He pauses. His brows furrow. Strange, he mutters. What is it? Aerys leans forward. He tilts his head slightly. It tastes like blood. Another chill. My stomach drops. Before I can even process it. Ag high. A sharp, blinding pain explodes in my chest. Like a dagger, slicing straight through my heart. Nyord! I cry out, doubling over, clutching at my ribs as my vision fractures into white. Felicia! I barely register Eris's voice before I start to collapse. But I never hit the ground. Warmth catches me. Strong arms wrap around me. Aerys. I feel her grip, firm, protective. Are you all right? Carlagen's voice is rough with concern. My chest heaves. The pain, so sharp moments ago, dulls into a throb. I breathe. Once. Twice. It hurts, but it's easing. I'm okay. I whisper, wiping sweat from my brow. Aerys isn't convinced. Her arms stay locked around me, like she's afraid I'll vanish if she lets go. What was that? A heart attack? A mana surge? Too much bacon in my past life? No, this was magic. I know it. My mana went berserk. Felicia. Aerys whispers urgently. What happened? I don't know. Everything was fine, then suddenly it felt like my heart was exploding. Carlagen frowns, stroking his scaled chin. It could be a side effect from forming your core too quickly. But if it happens again, go straight to a cleric. I will. I nod weakly. But Aerys doesn't let go. She holds my hand tightly, her brows knit in worry. The room falls silent. I try to shake it off. Anyway, I say, forcing a cheerful tone, I'm better now. Can we go ahead with the ID? Carlagen blinks, then nods. Yes, of course. With that, we follow him upstairs, down a quiet hallway to a wide, ornate door. A gleaming plaque hangs above it. Physical assessment room. Every new ID requires a personal evaluation, Carlagen explains. It determines your physical and magical capabilities. Oh, I nod, eyes wide. We can skip it, he adds, but don't you want to see your stats? Stats. I blink. Wait, stats? As in status screen stats? Like in a lit RPG game? Heck, yes. Don't skip it. I blurt out, practically vibrating with excitement. I need to know. Aerys laughs. Yes, same. I feel like her stats might explain that mana outburst. Carlagen nods solemnly. He opens the door, and we step inside. As I struggle to keep my mana flowing steadily, my hands tremble and my tail twitches nervously behind me. I sneak a glance at Aerys, trying to read her expression. And what color is it? I ask, my voice barely more than a whisper. Aerys tilts her head, studying me carefully. Her gaze sharpens, and for a moment she doesn't answer, just squints like she's solving some ancient riddle. It's red, she finally says. My ears perk. Oh, so it's fire then. I try to sound enthusiastic, I really do, but inside, a tiny piece of me deflates. Fire magic. Great. Sure, red is my favorite color, but fire? It's the most basic of basics. The default. The starter pack of elemental magic. Loud, flashy, and completely lacking in subtlety. Not very fitting for a cute, mysterious, soft-spoken catgirl like me. Is it? No. I was hoping for something cooler. Space, maybe. Or time. Or darkness. Something edgy and rare. But hey, I can't complain. I can use magic, and that's already amazing. Magic colors are usually pretty straightforward. Fire, red. Water, blue. Earth, brown. Wind, green. Space, silver. Time, purple. Light, yellow. Darkness, black. Neat little boxes. Clean little categories. But then Aerys frowns. No, she murmurs, leaning in. It's red, yeah, but not fire red. She pauses. It's the red of blood. My breath catches. Bee blood. I squeak. A shiver races down my spine like ice water. Blood red? That's not in the books. Am I cursed? Possessed? A vampire? A demon? Some kind of reincarnated disaster waiting to explode. I gulp. Okay, sure, I used to fantasize about becoming a demon queen in another world, but that was before I became one reincarnated catgirl sneeze away from panic attack. What if Eris thinks I'm a freak? What if she backs away? Is that bad? I ask quietly, my ears drooping and tail curling like I'm trying to make myself small enough to disappear. But Eris just smiles gently. No, of course not, silly. It's just different. Rare. Actually, it's kind of cool. I blink. She doesn't think I'm weird. My whole body relaxes. My tail flicks back up, playful and light. Phew. Okay, I'm not cursed. At least, not yet. And now that I think about it, I have read about rare cases. People with odd color mana that don't fit the elemental spectrum. There was even a term for it. Sonders and something? I mumble. Sondesgeist, Aerys says with a knowing chuckle. Unique mana bearer. Yes, that. I light up, though the word still sounds like someone sneezed while trying to cast a spell. Magic isn't always neat. Sometimes it blends, twists, evolves. Just like colors. Like how Eris's mana isn't the normal purple of time magic. It's deeper, darker, like shadows at midnight. Which makes me wonder, Aerys, your mana is darkness, right? Yup, she replies with a smirk. All dark, all day. So you're Sondesgeist too? She winks. Guilty. Uh-huh. I knew it. Mana doesn't care about neat boxes. It flows on a spectrum. Maybe mine does too. But then, what is blood red mana? Before I can spiral too far into speculation, I bounce on my toes. Aerys, show me your magic. She smirks. Nope. Please. Nope. I pout. Ears down. Tail limp. I even throw in the sparkly kitten eyes for good measure. Nothing. She's immune. Oomph. I huff, crossing my arms like the dignified princess cat I am. Eris just laughs and changes the subject. Anyway, maybe Carlagen can find something in the guild records about your unique mana. Oh, right. I perk up. Maybe my blood-colored mana means something. Maybe I'm not just rare. I'm special. Important even. And then, perfect timing as always. The door creaks open. Carlagen steps in, robes rustling, his lizard-like eyes glinting with quiet curiosity. Is it time? Aerys asks. He nods. Business hours are over. We can begin her ID process now. Great. Aerys grins. Oh, and did you know Felicia here just shattered a world record? Carlagen's scaly brow arches. Really? What kind? She sensed mana and formed her core in under an hour, Aerys says proudly. I puff up a little. It wasn't that big a deal. It's a huge deal, Carlagen says, impressed. If we could register you properly, you'd be famous, right? No ID, no fame, no glory, no mountains of gold. Aerys nudges me. Maybe next time. Maybe I sigh. Carlagen steps closer. Before we proceed, may I examine your mana core? I might be able to identify something unique about it. Sure. I sit cross-legged and close my eyes, focusing inward. That warmth gathers in my chest again, my core pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Carlagen approaches. He doesn't use sight or sound to read mana. He tastes it. Wait, taste. Is he going to lick me? I barely have time to panic before he flicks his long tongue through the air, sampling the magic like it's a wine pairing. He stops. Brows furrow. Strange, he murmurs. Aerys leans in. What is it? His slitted eyes narrow. It tastes like blood. A wave of cold crashes over me. Again with the blood? Before I can say anything, a sharp pain explodes in my chest like a bolt of lightning. Nyaorg! I scream, clutching at my ribs, vision blurring with stars. It's like my core is tearing itself apart. Felicia! I barely register Aerys's voice before I start to fall. But I don't hit the ground. Strong arms catch me. Hold me. Aerys. I feel her warmth, her strength, anchoring me. Are you all right? Carlagen asks, voice laced with concern. I force my eyes open, the pain already ebbing, dull and lingering like a bruise beneath my ribs. I think I'm okay. I breathe, wiping sweat from my forehead. Aerys doesn't loosen her grip. If anything, she holds me tighter. Felicia, she whispers. What happened? I don't know. It was fine, and then my mana just exploded. It felt like my heart was ripping open. Carlagen strokes his chin. It might be a rare side effect of core formation. If it happens again, see a cleric immediately. I will, I promise. But Eris is still watching me with narrowed eyes and furrowed brows. She doesn't believe it's that simple. The silence between us turns heavy. I try to lighten it. Well, I'm okay now. Should we keep going with the ID? Carlagen blinks, then nods. Yes, of course. He leads us upstairs through a quiet corridor until we reach a pair of grand, polished doors. Above them hangs a plaque. Physical assessment room. Before registration, every adventurer must undergo an evaluation, Carlagen explains, to assess their physical and magical aptitude. Ooh, I nod, intrigued. We can skip it, he offers. But aren't you curious about your stats? My ears twitch. Stats. Wait, status. Like a game window. Like a full-blown lit RPG profile. Heck, yes. Don't skip it. I shout, practically bouncing. I need to know everything. Aerys grins. Yes, same. Maybe her stats will explain that mana overload. Carlagen gives a short nod and pushes open the doors. And together, we step inside.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
In the past, a magical assessment was a grueling ordeal. A lengthy process filled with clunky, intimidating equipment measuring everything from mana control to magical prowess. And of course, there was always a stern-faced mage looming nearby, clipboard in hand, judging you with an unyielding gaze. But now, all that has changed. Thanks to a groundbreaking invention from the Magic Guild, magical assessments have been streamlined into one simple step. Instead of hours of testing, all I have to do is place my hand on a small, gleaming crystal ball sitting innocently on the table before me. It looks unassuming, but this artifact is anything but ordinary. Made from a highly reactive material and infused with an advanced indication spell, it's so precise that it can detect even the faintest traces of mana in a person who hasn't fully awakened. No need for complicated machines. No need for judgmental mages hovering over my shoulder. Just one touch. Everything is automated, streamlined, and supposedly foolproof. Haha, there are only 2 of these mana assessment balls in the entire kingdom of Eldenwald, and this beauty is one of them. Carlagen declares with pride, his voice booming through the room. His chest puffs up, and he looks at the ball as if it were his crowning achievement. Ooh, I clap, genuinely impressed, my eyes wide with awe at his enthusiasm. Just bought it yesterday, actually, he adds, rubbing his nose in a self-satisfied manner. Cost me a whopping 1,000,000 crowns, but worth every coin. What? That much? I gasp, my mouth dropping open. Yep, 1,000,000 crowns. Carlagen nods fervently. After all, an artifact of this caliber requires unparalleled craftsmanship. A masterpiece of arcane technology. Ooh, that's a mind-boggling amount of money. My stomach knots with anxiety. Because it's so precious, I now really have to be careful with this thing. Gulp. All right, Magic Ball Chan, don't disappoint me now. I say, stepping forward with a brave face, even though my heart is pounding. I extend my hand towards it, about to touch it. But then suddenly, oh, shit, it happens again. That strange, irresistible feeling. Push me. The ball seems to whisper almost seductively. Just a little push, please. Panic floods me. My logical brain screams, no. But my traitorous catgirl instincts. Just do it. Felicia. Just do. IT. And so, before I can stop myself, my hand moves of its own accord and, whoopsie. Time slows to a crawl. The crystal ball tilts, teeters on the edge, then begins a slow-motion descent toward the unforgiving floor. No. Carlagen's voice erupts, echoing in a drawn-out wail of pure horror. And I'm screaming too. Oh God, please no. The ball falls. 50 cm, 10 cm away the ground. My heart stops. Shit, if it breaks, I'm gonna be so fucked. I shut my eyes, bracing for the shattering sound that will spell my doom. However, nothing happens, and as I cautiously open one eye, there, sprawling on the floor, is Aerys, holding the crystal ball like a hero with one hand. Phew! Aerys exhales, her shoulders sagging. That was way too close. Wah! That was scary. I wail, my entire body trembling like a leaf caught in a storm. I clutch my chest, trying to calm the frantic thudding of my heart. Oh, my poor little heart. Thank the heavens Aerys caught it. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure Carlagen would have skinned me alive. Oh, let's do the test on the floor then. Carlagen wipes sweat from his forehead, visibly shaken. Yeah, let's do that. Aerys agrees. Meanwhile, I'm still struggling to catch my breath. It takes me a good few minutes for the shaking to subside. A few moments later, all right again, I declare with confidence, rolling my shoulders. Magic ball, Chan, don't disappoint me, Niao. Taking a deep breath, I place my hand on the mana assessment ball, safely positioned on the floor this time. The instant my fingers make contact, the ball flares to life. A brilliant glow radiates outward. The color shifts. Red, but not just any red. It's a deep, rich crimson, like fresh blood glistening in the moonlight. And it's freaking gorgeous. Whoa! I gasp, eyes wide with wonder. Aerys, this is what you were talking about, right? Yeah, that's exactly the color I saw. Aerys nods, grinning. Carlagen leans in, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. You were right. It's definitely unique. I've never seen this shade before. Then, can you tell which main attribute group Felicia's mana belongs to? Aerys asks eagerly. Carlagen squints at the glowing ball. See how the entire ball is red? But look closer, right at the center. There's a tiny sphere, and it's completely pitch black, isn't it? Aerys gasps. Oh, so it's like mine? Carlagen nods. I'd say so. Awesome. Aerys grins, practically bouncing on her heels. I blink, utterly lost. Wait, hold on. What are you guys talking about? I see the black spot, sure, but what does it actually mean? Carlagen shifts into explanation mode, his voice taking on a lecturing tone. Well, he begins, every attribute falls into one of the 8 main groups. Fire, water, earth, wind, time, space, light, and darkness. But here's the thing. It's not the color of the whole ball that matters. He taps the crystal. It's the color of that tiny sphere in the center that determines your true affinity. Ooh, I exclaim, finally connecting the dots. So, my attribute is darkness? Yup. Aerys grins, nodding enthusiastically. To prove her point, she places her hand on the ball. The orb immediately shifts to a deep, dark purple glow. But just like mine, at its core, there's that same ominous pitch-black sphere. See? I'm darkness too. Yoa, I cheer, pumping my fists in excitement. Not fire, but darkness. I have no clue yet how powerful or useful it is, but damn, it sounds cool. Carlagen chuckles, shaking his head in mild disbelief. I can't believe we have 2 Sondesgeist in the same room, both with darkness attributes. His eyes glimmer with intrigue as he turns to me. Young lady, based on the purity and brightness of the ball, your mana control and strength are already exceptional. Your rating is a whopping 5.2. I tilt my head. Is that good? Carlagen lets out an impressed whistle. It means your magic is 5.2 times more potent than an average person with a marble-sized mana core at the growing state. In fact, it's equivalent to someone already at the pulsating core stage. Oh, that's amazing. I beam, practically vibrating with excitement. Carlagen nods, still clearly impressed. To be honest, I've never seen someone this naturally gifted before. I turn to Eris, flashing a smug grin. Yup, called it. My physical abilities are absolute trash. But my magic? OP as hell. Heck yeah, perfectly balanced. As all things should be. But then, Carlagen's expression suddenly shifts. His previous excitement dims, replaced by something serious. However, he starts, voice lowering. Oh, we still don't know what kind of darkness you possess. And until we figure that out, I strongly advise against practicing magic for now. I blink. Why, Guildmaster? I thought my magic was strong. Carlagen sighs, rubbing his temples. Yes, and that's exactly why you need to be careful. As we step out of the Adventurers Guild, the setting sun paints the sky in streaks of pink, gold, and soft violet, like someone spilled a jar of shimmering magic across the horizon. Hee, cheer up, Aerys chirps, giving me a playful tap on the back. We got your ID sorted out. That's what we came here for, remember? Her voice is as bright as ever, but I can't quite match her energy. Yeah, I sigh, my cat ears drooping pathetically. The weight of disappointment clings to me like an unwelcome shadow, refusing to budge. How can I not feel down? The physical test results made it painfully clear. I'm so weak that even a 12-year-old could probably bench press more than me. And just when I thought my strong mana could redeem me, Carlagen and Eris straight up banned me from using magic. Hoo-hoo, can I at least do a little bit of meditation? I plead, putting on my most pitiful kitty eyes. Just a teensy tiny bit, please. Eris crosses her arms, standing firm. No, absolutely not. HMMP. Fiyin. I huff, puffing out my cheeks in frustration. My tail swishes behind me in protest. Yes, even my tail is annoyed. Come on now. You have to be careful. Eris insists, her voice firm but gentle. Tisk, you're right. I mumble, clicking my tongue and exhaling the longest, most dramatic sigh I can muster. It's all because of that stupid chest pain. Every time I try to use mana, this tight, crushing pressure builds up in my chest, twisting like an iron vise, and the mana goes wild, uncontrollable, erratic, and painful as hell. The agony leaves me gasping for breath, completely powerless. But even so, I don't want to give up. I can't give up. Without magic, what am I? Who would ever want to be with someone so utterly useless? No one. Don't worry. The Guildmaster promised he'd look into it. Eris says, her voice cutting through my spiraling thoughts. Once we figure out what's causing the pain, we'll fix it, and you'll be able to use your mana freely. She reaches out, taking my hand again. Even though I feel like curling into a ball of despair, I instinctively squeeze her hand back. Heck, but what if it's impossible? I sniff, blinking rapidly to keep the tears at bay. Guildmaster even said he's never seen anything like this before. Eris nudges me with her elbow. Hey, don't underestimate Carl. And don't be so pessimistic. She gives me a confident smirk. He's the Guildmaster. He's got connections all over the world. He'll find the best mages to help, and they'll solve this mystery. Just be patient, okay? I hesitate, then nod slowly. Yeah, Eris is right. I shouldn't be this pessimistic. And besides, trusting Carlagen is the only thing I can do right now. But still, Nyarg, but I still want to practice mana so badly. I groan dramatically, stomping my feet like a child throwing a tantrum. My tail lashes behind me, a perfect indicator of my sulky mood. Eris bursts out laughing. All right, enough moping around, she declares. Let's do something fun. My ears twitch. Huh, fun. Eris's grin widens. Yeah, look, I totally get why you're feeling down. If I couldn't use magic, I'd be super bummed too. But do you really want to spend the rest of the day feeling all mopey and miserable? I hesitate. Exactly. She pumps a fist. So I say we do something so amazing, so ridiculously fun, that you'll forget all your worries. Her enthusiasm is contagious. Before I even realize it, a genuine smile creeps onto my face. Why, yeah, let's do it, I say, feeling a flicker of excitement finally reigniting in my chest. Eris is right. There's no point in sulking over things I can't change. Being gloomy won't make anything better. Instead, why not put my worries aside and just enjoy the day? The world is huge, brimming with wonders waiting to be discovered, and my adventure is just beginning. Might as well make the most of it. But, what exactly are we going to do? I ask, curiosity bubbling up. Eris tapped her chin. I know, a super magical secret place. Want to see? Yes, I exclaim. Then I pause, narrowing my eyes. Wait, what kind of place is it? Eris smirks mischievously. Well, that's a secret. She winks. And so, hand in hand, We stroll through Mistvale's winding streets, heading toward her super magical secret place. For the first time in hours, my spirits finally feel lighter. Moments later, "Whoa, yeah," the word slips out of me in an odd whisper, carried away by the wind. I feel like I'm on top of the world. And well, I kind of am, standing atop Mistvale's tallest structure, the Great Clock Tower. The entire town stretches out below us, sprawling like a miniature kingdom. From this height, the winding streets, bustling markets, and neatly arranged rooftops look almost toy-like, their details softened by distance. Beyond the town walls, the world unfolds in breathtaking layers. To the north, an endless forest stretches toward the horizon, its emerald canopy shifting with the evening breeze. Towering mountains loom in the background, their snow-capped peaks dusted in the warm hues of twilight. To the south, a vast lake glimmers, its surface rippling with golden light as it stretches far, far beyond the eye can see. To the east and west, roads snake away from town, lined with scattered farmhouses, fields bathe in the soft glow of lanterns, and the distant silhouettes of travelers making their way home. Above it all, the sky is a masterpiece. Streaks of orange, pink, and violet blend together like an artist's brushstrokes, casting a dreamlike glow over everything. The wind rushes past, cool and crisp, tugging at my clothes, making my hair flutter wildly. It's incredible. Though, to be fair, getting up here was less incredible. The journey had been grueling. So many stairs. There is no elevator in this world, so of course, we had to climb stairs. And by the time we reached the halfway point, my legs felt like jelly, my breath came in ragged gasps, and every step felt like lifting a mountain. After all, my stamina isn't very good. However, just as I was about to give up, Eris, the absolute menace, burst out laughing and carried me on her back the rest of the way, effortlessly scaling the stairs like she didn't have a whole person clinging to her. Now, as we stand together, catching our breath, it all feels worth it. Absolutely worth it. "Hey, how is it?" Aerys asks, tilting her head with a grin. I swallow the lump in my throat, still gripping the iron railing like it's my last lifeline. "I love it," I squeal, heart pounding from more than just excitement. But yeah, I'm still really scared. Because, turns out, standing at the highest point in the city doesn't magically cure a fear of heights. Sure, it's a little better than before, but my legs are trembling, my tail is puffed up like a terrified kitten, and I'm pretty sure if I let go of this railing for even a second, my soul might just evacuate my body. Eris giggles. Hee hee, if we keep doing this every day, you'll get over your fear in no time. I gulp. Why, yeah, I really hope so. My voice wavers, not exactly full of conviction. She plops down on the stone ledge, patting the spot beside her. I hesitate, but eventually ease myself down as well, moving at the speed of a terrified sloth. And just like that, we settle in, side by side, watching the town below as the day slowly slips into night. We pull out the food we grabbed earlier, simple, steaming meat skewers, their scent rich with spices and charred goodness. Nom nom nom. As I take a bite, savoring the juicy, flavorful meat, a thought strikes me. This might just be the most luxurious dining experience I've ever had. Delicious street food, a breathtaking view, and a beautiful friend sitting right next to me. Seriously, what could be better than this? Nope, nothing. As we eat, the last remnants of daylight melt away, and the sky shifts to a deep, velvety blue. The first stars begin to twinkle, faint but steady, as the moon slowly rises over the town, casting a cool, silvery glow across the rooftops. For a while, we just sit there, watching the world change around us, lost in the quiet beauty of the moment. And then, a question suddenly pops into my mind. Aerys, where are the dungeons? I ask between bites. Eris's eyes light up, a mischievous sparkle dancing in them. Oh, dungeons? They're everywhere, she replies, grinning. Everywhere. Yeah. I blink at Aerys, ears twitching. What do you mean, everywhere? She grins. Exactly what I said, everywhere. But where? Eris lets out an exaggerated sigh before flicking my forehead hard. Ouch! I yelp, recoiling and rubbing the sore spot. She smirks. Silly Felicia. Then, with the flair of a storyteller about to reveal some grand truth, she turns and points dramatically toward the vast, sprawling forest beyond Mistvale's walls. See that forest over there? There are 54 dungeons hidden among those trees. I blink. 54. Before I can even wrap my head around that number, she spins on her heel, extending both arms toward the distant, jagged mountains towering in the background. And across that mountain range, she spreads her arms wide. Hundreds more, scattered throughout. My mouth falls open. Hundreds? And she's not done. With a flourish, she twists around again, this time pointing at the vast shimmering lake glinting beneath the fading sun. The water ripples with gold and violet reflections, stretching endlessly toward the horizon. In the lake, she continues, there are 67 dungeons just along the shoreline, and even more lurking beneath the water. I stare at her, my brain short-circuiting. What? That many? I stammer, still massaging my poor forehead, as if rubbing it might somehow help absorb the insane number of dungeons she's throwing at me. Aerys nods smugly, her grin stretching ear to ear. Hundreds of dungeons. I had imagined at most 10, maybe 15, if I were being generous. But hundreds? That sounds impossible. I shake my head, trying to process it. I don't understand. If there are that many, where does all the space come from? Unless... I narrow my eyes. Each dungeon is like the size of a garden shed or something. Eris bursts out laughing. No. She leans closer, tapping a finger against my forehead. They don't take up any space in our world. Huh? I squint at her. What do you mean? Then realization dawns. Oh, so they're like separate dimensions? Eris snaps her fingers, pointing at me like I just solved a riddle. Bingo! I exhale, shaking my head. That's actually really cool. Turns out, dungeons in this world aren't just regular caves or underground labyrinths. Nope, they're way cooler. Each one is a self-contained realm, a pocket of reality stitched into the fabric of existence. Even though hundreds of them are scattered across the land, they don't actually consume any physical space in our world. That's why there's always room for more. And apparently, new dungeons can randomly appear or vanish, as if the world itself is breathing them in and out of existence, like some mystical exhalation. I shiver slightly at the thought. Well, not exactly randomly, though. Eris corrects, tapping her chin thoughtfully. Notice how there aren't any dungeons popping up inside town? If one suddenly appeared here, it'd be a disaster, right? Oh, right. I nod quickly. That would be absolutely terrible. But that raises another question. Then, how do dungeons know not to appear in towns? I frown, tilting my head. Does the dungeon god, or whoever's creating these things, just know to avoid cities? Eris shakes her head, smiling knowingly. It's because of the ley lines. I blink. Ley lines? MHM. She hums, kneeling down to trace an invisible web with her finger on the dusty stone surface. Ley lines are like magical rivers flowing beneath our world. They spread everywhere, unseen but ever-present. Dungeons don't just pop up randomly. They form along these cracks in the magical currents. Her finger drags a slow, winding path along her makeshift map. So, if we map out the ley lines, we can actually predict where dungeons might appear. My ears perk up as I piece it together. Ooh! I exclaim, eyes widening. So, before anyone builds a town, they make sure to avoid ley lines so a dungeon won't just appear in the middle of everything. Eris grins and nudges my shoulder playfully. Wow, look at you, so smart. I giggle, feeling a little proud of myself. But then, Eris's smile fades slightly. Well, she continues, there's actually an entire job dedicated to predicting and managing dungeons. Kind of like how people forecast disasters and earthquakes. We could try to anticipate when and where dungeons will appear. But even so, her voice trails off, her golden eyes dimming just a little. A weight settles over the conversation. It's not like dungeons never appear in populated areas, she murmurs. and there's still so much we don't understand about them. A breeze sweeps through the tower, ruffling my hair, but I hardly notice, because her words stick in my mind. Even the best predictions are still just that, predictions. Back on Earth, no matter how advanced we became, we were still powerless against nature's fury. Earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, they came uninvited, sometimes without warning, and they always left devastation in their wake. Thousands of lives lost, homes turned to rubble, tragedies no amount of preparation could truly prevent. Maybe dungeons are the same, a force of nature, unpredictable and unstoppable, something that can't be controlled, only endured. Just as the thought settles heavily in my mind, Eris speaks again, breaking me from my trance. You know, she says, her voice pulling me back to the present. Dungeons here are ranked, too. I blink, shaking off my thoughts. Rank, MHM. She nods. Like adventurers, dungeons are classified from F rank to S rank. The Adventurers Guild assigns these rankings after extensive investigations. Then a memory clicks. Oh, right? You mentioned this before. Just yesterday, Aerys had told me that her father went missing inside an S-rank dungeon. I turn to look at her, but she's already watching me, her expression serious. Her golden eyes narrow slightly, locking onto mine. Listen carefully, Felicia. Something in her tone makes my spine straighten on instinct. About half of all dungeons are F-rank, relatively safe. Some are so harmless they don't even have monsters. She pauses. Then, her expression hardens. But the other half? E-rank and above. A shadow passes over her face. Those are different. Those are packed with danger. I swallow, suddenly feeling the chill in the air. As a general rule, she continues, her voice steady. It takes a party of 5 adventurers of the same rank to explore a dungeon safely. So, for example, to venture into an A-rank dungeon, you need 5 A-rank adventurers. No exceptions. Her eyes sharpen. Underestimating a dungeon is a fatal mistake. Never enter one without meticulous preparation, Felicia. Gulp. I nod slowly, feeling the weight of her words sink deep into my bones. Because now I finally understand. Dungeons aren't just exciting adventures. They're deadly mysteries. And the moment you underestimate them, they will consume you whole. And then, her scar, the image of that jagged, brutal wound flashes through my mind. Even now, it haunts me. Aerys is a seasoned adventurer, strong and experienced. Yet even she made mistakes. Mistakes that almost cost her life. I swallow hard, nodding silently. I won't forget her warning. I can't. But then, a thought surfaces, a question pressing against my lips before I can stop it. But, your father, why did he go into an S-rank dungeon? He was only an A-rank adventurer, right? For a moment, Aerys doesn't answer. Her jaw tightens. Then, in a voice that's strained, she murmurs, "It's because the authorities underestimated it." She pauses. I glance down. Her fists are clenched, knuckles white. There's a storm brewing in her eyes, frustration and grief tangled together. Ah, damn it. I shouldn't have asked that. I'm sorry. I whisper. Eris shakes her head. No, it's okay. She takes a deep, shaky breath before continuing. They said it was just a regular A-rank dungeon. But then it changed. 20 people, including my father, not a single one returned. Her voice is quiet, but each word hits like a blade. Eris, I whisper, my chest tightening with the weight of her sorrow. She quickly wipes at her eyes, forcing a small, fragile smile. Sorry, Felicia. I just got emotional again. I shake my head. You don't have to apologize. She exhales, staring at the horizon. The moonlight catches in her hair, making it glow. Then, after a moment, she speaks again. You know, being an adventurer isn't just about treasure or discovery. Her voice is softer now. It's about protecting the weak, stopping the dangers before they reach innocent people. That makes me pause. Wait, monsters can leave dungeons. I ask, my eyes widening. Eris nods. Of course. The thought sends a chill through me. I'd assumed dungeons were self-contained, but if monsters could break free. But don't worry, she adds, her tone warm now, reassuring. It doesn't happen often, and even if it does, she turns to me, gently taking my hand. I'll be here to protect you. Bottom. My heart skips a beat. Thank you. I murmur, a soft warmth spreading through my chest as I instinctively squeeze her hand back. The way she says it, steady, certain, unshakable, makes her seem even cooler than usual. But more than that, I know she means it. Having her by my side, it makes me feel safe. Like no danger in the world could ever reach me. We stay atop the clock tower a while longer, the conversation drifting back to dungeons. The night air is cool and crisp, wrapping around us as the town below grows quieter, its streets bathed in soft lantern light. By the time I finally notice, the moon is high, the stars glitter like scattered diamonds, and the wind blows, gentle and refreshing. Dungeons, as it turns out, are paradoxes made real, treacherous and unpredictable, yet brimming with unimaginable beauty and untold riches. The lands surrounding Mistvale are home to countless such dungeons, each possessing its own allure, mystery, and danger. Some are renowned for their vast deposits of magic stones, their crystalline veins pulsating with arcane energy. Others are teeming with rare and potent medicinal herbs, capable of curing ailments that no ordinary healer could mend. And then there is one, a dungeon whispered about in hushed awe, where fields of luminous, ethereal flowers bloom in an endless array of colors. Their glow casts a dreamlike radiance, painting the cavern in shifting hues that make it feel less like a place of peril and more like a realm plucked from the dreams of the gods. Adventurers flock there not for treasure, but for the view alone, a fleeting glimpse of something truly otherworldly. It is through these very dungeons that humanity has not only survived but thrived. Magic stones and medicinal herbs fuel the economy, medicine, and the advancement of civilization itself. Even the monsters lurking within these labyrinths, while lethal, are an ironic necessity. Their meat a delicacy, their bones and hides essential for crafting weapons, armor, and intricate magical artifacts. And so, drawn by the promise of wealth and power, adventurers risk life and limb, forging their legends in the crucible of battle. With each foe slain, each trial overcome, they grow stronger, pushing the limits of human potential in pursuit of glory, mastery, or simply survival. In this way, dungeons are no mere anomalies of the world. They are woven into the very fabric of society, a constant, enigmatic force that is at once a blessing and a curse. Rustle, rustle. The garden path winds gently beneath our feet, the cool night breeze setting the trees, swaying in a quiet rhythm. The grass whispers with every step, and clusters of delicate flowers, the landscape, some glowing faintly, their petals shimmering under the silver glow of the moon. Bathed in its soft luminescence, the world feels almost ethereal. The shadows stretch, yet everything remains clear to my catgirl eyes, my vision naturally adjusting to the darkness. For a while, there is only the hush of nature around us, until Eris finally speaks. Hey, she says, her voice breaking the stillness, the whole world is actually one big dungeon too. I blink, my ears perking up in confusion. Wait, what? The world is a dungeon. Yup, Eris nods, an amused glint in her eyes. Think about it. What's the difference between our world and the worlds behind those dungeon gates? I pause, racking my brain for an answer. I don't know. I've never even been to a dungeon before. Aerys grins, clearly enjoying my struggle. Then take a guess. A guess. I tilt my head, my tail flicking thoughtfully as I enter what I like to call catgirl thinking mode. I rub my chin, my ears twitching in deep concentration. Is it that there are monsters inside the dungeons? Aerys shrugs. Well, dungeons do have creatures we call dungeon monsters, but in essence, they're not all that different from the animals in our world. Some are just stronger because of the high concentration of mana. I frown, thinking harder. Then, is it that dungeons are smaller? Eris shakes her head. Nope. While many dungeons are small enough to explore in just a few days, some are so vast that no one has ever fully mapped them. Their scale can even surpass our wildest imagination. I chew on my lip, straining for an answer. I try to think harder, but the gears in my brain eventually jam. I can't think of anything else. I groan, throwing up my hands in defeat. Aerys bursts into laughter. That's because there is no difference. I stare at her, stunned. There is none. But you still made me guess? Ugh, Aerys. I puff out my cheeks, tail flicking in annoyance. Hee hee. She giggles, clearly delighting in my frustration. I told you, didn't I? Our world is just one big dungeon. Oomph. I cross my arms, still pouting. All right. Aerys continues, waving her hands as if to pacify me. Think of it like this. If you were born inside a dungeon, let's say the Silver Wolf dungeon, and you were a silver wolf, that dungeon would be your entire world. To you, humans invading through the gates would be like monsters appearing from another dungeon. I pause, her words clicking into place. Ugh. My eyes widen as the idea finally makes sense. I get it now. Aerys nods, satisfied. Fascinating, isn't it? In it, I nod eagerly, excitement bubbling inside me. But then, and there's more, Aerys adds, her tone shifting slightly. Some dungeons even contain ruins, traces of lost civilizations. I gasp. Wait, you mean there were once people living inside dungeons? Aerys's expression softens into something more solemn. Yup, they didn't just live there, they built entire kingdoms. A whole civilization inside the dungeons? That's insanely cool. These lost civilizations, Aerys continues, were far more advanced than anything we have now. By studying their ruins, we've uncovered countless discoveries that shaped our modern world. That's amazing, I exclaim, my curiosity now fully ignited. But then a question tugs at me, one that sends a faint shiver down my spine. But what happened to them? My voice drops slightly. Why did they disappear? Aerys hesitates, her gaze turning distant. No one really knows, she admits, shaking her head. Some say they ascended, leaving this world behind for a higher plane of existence. I swallow, my mind conjuring up an image of ancient rulers stepping through glowing portals, vanishing into a dimension beyond comprehension. But Aerys's next words send a cold chill through my veins. Others believe a catastrophic disaster wiped them out. Her voice is quiet now, barely above a whisper. Then, after a pause, she looks at me, her expression unreadable. And if that's true, she murmurs, then we need to find out what happened and how to prevent it. The wind shifts, rustling through the trees, making the glowing flowers flicker like tiny spectral flames. Suddenly, the world feels a little too quiet, a little too fragile. And for the first time tonight, I can't help but wonder, are we walking in the footsteps of a civilization that was already doomed? All right, I murmur, a chill creeping up my spine as the realization sinks in. For some reason, it reminds me of what happened to the dinosaurs on Earth. 66 million years ago, a massive rock fell from the sky, and boom, extinction. What's to say something similar won't happen again? Maybe not a meteor. Maybe something worse. I shudder at the thought. But before I can dwell on it, Aerys's voice cuts through the silence. By the way, do you know where us furin come from? I blink, caught off guard. Wait, where furin come from? You mean, furin people aren't originally from this world? Aerys's grin widens. Yup, we came from a different world, another dungeon. I stare at her. No way. You're kidding. Nope. It's the truth. I fall silent, my curiosity piqued. Aerys's playful smirk fades slightly as she begins to explain, her tone shifting into something more serious. I listen intently, hanging onto every word. The two worlds, furin and humans, didn't come from the same world. They were born from two separate dimensions, two entirely different realms. The human world was called Terra, a land where humans were the sole inhabitants, a place where magic existed, But nature was something to be controlled, molded by civilization's ever-expanding reach. Meanwhile, the furin world was known as fauny, a realm where nature and beast folk coexisted in perfect harmony, a land where the forests breathed, the rivers sang, and the connection between life and mana was far stronger than anything in Terra. For thousands of years, these two worlds remained isolated, unaware of each other's existence, until the gate opened. A dungeon gate, unlike any other, tore through the fabric of space, linking Terra and Fauny for the first time. And it wasn't peaceful. War broke out. Humans and furin clashed violently, both sides seeing the other as invaders. They fought over land, resources, and survival, a conflict that raged for centuries, leaving the ground soaked in blood and the skies choked with fire. Neither side was strong enough to completely wipe out the other, but neither was willing to surrender, either. Then, over time, through countless struggles, sacrifices, and unlikely alliances, they found a way to coexist. They shared their knowledge, their magic, their technology, shaping a new future. For the first time, humans and furin stood together, not as enemies, but as equals. Even so, the scars of war never truly faded. Even now, there are places in Terra where furin are treated with suspicion, where old prejudices still linger. And in Fauny, there remain regions where humans are unwelcome, seen as outsiders who nearly destroyed their world once before. And interestingly, this very kingdom, Eldenwald, exists in Terra. Meanwhile, Eris's homeland, the Zerakia Kingdom, located in Fauny, and the gate that once separated these two worlds, it still exists, and is actually hidden high in the northern mountains of Mistvale, standing as a silent reminder of the past. Aerys exhales, her gaze drifting toward the night sky. It's been a long journey for our people, Felicia. We've come a long way, but there's still so much work to be done. I nod, the weight of her words settling deep in my chest. But a thought lingers in my mind. Has this ever happened before? I ask hesitantly. I mean, besides humans and furin, has any other race ever appeared? Any other world made contact with us? Aerys shakes her head. Nope, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. Her expression turns serious, especially with new dungeons popping up every day. I feel another chill run through me. Right, dungeons. Dungeons are more than just caves filled with monsters and treasure. They're gateways, portals to places unknown. Eris glances at me, her eyes steady. And that means we have to be prepared. Our world, our people, need to grow stronger. I nod again, more firmly this time. Yeah, even though the world seems peaceful now, I can't shake the feeling of how fragile that peace truly is. Dungeons exist everywhere, which means the fate of our world is always hanging by a thread. I think back to what Eris said about balance. The only reason peace was possible between humans and furin was because neither side was strong enough to completely overpower the other. Their struggles forced them to find common ground, a balance born of necessity, forged through shared hardship and a mutual desire to survive. But what if one day a new dungeon opens, one that connects us to another world? A world with a thriving, unknown civilization we've never encountered before? If they come in peace, that would be a blessing. But if they come as conquerors, if they seek to enslave, dominate, or destroy us, a shiver crawls down my spine. If that day ever comes, we may have no choice but to fight to protect what we have. The more we talk about dungeons, the more my curiosity ignites. The thrill of the unknown, the danger lurking in the shadows, the promise of adventure. It all sounds so exciting. I can only imagine what it must be like to step into a dungeon myself, to see its wonders with my own eyes. One day, I'll experience it all. But for now, questions. Eris, what's your favorite dungeon monster? I ask, bouncing on my toes as my excitement bubbles over. It's a habit of mine. When I'm really interested in something, I just can't stop asking questions. Some people find it annoying, but Eris said she doesn't mind, so I fire away without holding back. Oh, that's a tough one. Eris muses, tapping her chin thoughtfully. A moment of silence follows as she deliberates. Then, her eyes suddenly sparkle with delight. Oh, the giant horned rabbits. Giant horned rabbits? I repeat, ears twitching. Aerys nods enthusiastically. They're not only cute and fluffy, but also incredibly delicious. And they're massive, so there's plenty of meat. Oh, rabbit meat? Is it even tastier than Faloan birds? Oh, way tastier, she says, her grin widening as she gestures like she's holding the world's biggest rabbit drumstick. They have a rich, gamey flavor that's perfect for grilling or stewing. But be warned, they're tough to chew if not cooked properly. Oh, and they're quite pricey too. Gulp. I swallow hard, my mouth watering at the thought. If Eris says they're that good, then a giant rabbit feast is definitely going on my bucket list. But then her tone shifts. Don't let their cuteness fool you. Her expression grows serious. They're E-rank monsters, and a careless adventurer can easily get taken down by one. I nod quickly, making a mental note to never underestimate deceptively adorable creatures. Okay, what about the monster you hate the most? I ask, pressing on. Aerys doesn't even hesitate. Spiders. A chill runs down my spine. Ah, spiders. I echo, my shoulders tensing instinctively. My tail floofs out like it has a mind of its own. Yeah, no, hard pass. Back on Earth, I could never deal with spiders, and that hasn't changed one bit. Those 8-legged nightmares. Why do they exist? Sure, they look cool in anime, and spider girls are kind of cute, but real ones? Hell, nah. Even the smallest one could send me sprinting away at full speed. I gulp. Anyway, just how big do they get? Eris stretches her arms wide. Oh, very big. I once fought one the size of a house. What? The size of a house? I squeak, gripping my sleeves as an actual shiver racks my body. A spider that big? I wouldn't even fight. I'd just faint on the spot. But Eris isn't done yet. And then, there are the slimes. I blink. Slimes? But aren't they weak? Mostly, Eris admits with a shrug. But they're also incredibly annoying. If you pop them too hard, their insides splatter everywhere. And depending on the type of slime, their goo can sometimes melt your clothes right off. What? I stare at her, half horrified, half morbidly fascinated. Seriously? Eris bursts into laughter, her eyes gleaming with mischief. Oh yeah, and some slimes can even dissolve metal, too. I gasp, throwing my hands up. That's ridiculous. Then a thought sneaks into my brain, making me pause. Wait, have you ever had your clothes melted off before? Eris taps her chin, pretending to ponder. No. Then she grins. But I have seen it happen to someone else. I gasp dramatically, clutching my chest as my cheeks burn. Oh my, those naughty slimes. Mental note. Never. Go. Near. Them. Eris laughs, clearly enjoying my reaction. But then, her expression shifts, eyes twinkling with excitement. But you know what? Some slimes are actually pretty tasty, if you know how to cook them. My ears perk up instantly. Oh, how do you cook a slime? Well, you can turn them into jelly, or even make slime cakes and candies. Eris says, flashing a playful smile. I blink. That sounds weirdly amazing. I know, right? She grins. Actually, I know a great place that sells slime sweets. Let's visit it sometime. And just like that, we continue chatting animatedly, our conversation drifting from monsters to food, from danger to delight. The road stretches ahead, flanked by swaying trees and rustling grass. The soft crunch of our footsteps the only sound in the quiet night. There's no one else around, just the occasional coo of a night bird, the distant whisper of flowing water, and the gentle mist that has begun to gather, swirling in the cool air like a spectral veil. Tonight feels colder than last night. I shiver slightly, tugging my cloak tighter around me, already wondering, will we need to ask Gordon for a thicker blanket to stay warm? Step. I keep talking, asking more questions. And Aerys? She keeps answering. Right now, our conversation has drifted to random dungeon plants and flowers. Turns out there's so many strange and fascinating ones. Some beautiful, some deadly. You know, there's this flower called the nightmare orchid. Eris says, her tone dropping slightly, making me perk up with curiosity. Nightmare orchid? Yeah, she continues. It's a black flower, absolutely mesmerizing. But be careful. Just one whiff of its scent, and you'll be trapped in a loop of nightmares, forced to relive your worst fears over and over again. A shiver runs down my spine. A looping nightmare? So it's like a bad acid trip? Hallucinogenic flowers exist in this world too? You can get high just from the smell alone? Interesting. But the nightmare orchid sounds like a bad deal. There's no way in hell I'd ever want to experience something like that. Suddenly, a scent drifts through the air. Sweet, haunting, strange. It's delicate, yet compelling, curling around me like an invisible ribbon of ethereal silk. I freeze mid-step, inhaling deeply. What does that smell? My ears twitch, my tail bristling slightly as my eyes dart around, searching for its source. The fragrance is faint, almost ghostly, yet it seeps into me, threading through my senses like an unspoken whisper. A blend of rose and lavender. Sweet, soft, almost soothing. But something about it feels wrong. The sweetness isn't comforting, it's unnerving. A creeping unease tightens in my chest. My catgirl instincts prick with alarm, a sensation I can't explain but can't ignore. I don't know much about the flowers of this world, but maybe Aerys does. Aerys, are you smelling this too? I ask, expecting her usual playful laugh, or maybe a teasing remark. But silence. I pause. Huh. I wait, expecting her to respond. A chuckle, a comment, something. But the only thing that greets me is a suffocating quiet. A hush so absolute, it feels unnatural. Then, a cold, gnawing dread coils in my stomach, spreading like ice in my veins. Something's wrong. Eris. My voice wavers. I turn around, and my blood runs cold. What? She's gone. Eris is gone. A wave of cold dread crashes into me, pressing down with every passing second. No, this can't be happening. I shake my head violently, slap my own cheeks, trying to jolt myself out of this sudden nightmare. Eris. I call out again, louder this time, my voice edging into panic. Nothing. Only the emptiness of the night. And then, Eris. I scream her name, desperation tightening around my throat. Please. Are you there? Where are you? Eris. The name tears from my lips, ringing into the stillness. Again and again. But the silence devours my voice, leaving behind only the sound of my ragged breathing. Nothing. No answer. The world around me presses in, the air colder than before, the darkness thicker. Panic claws at my mind, sinking deeper with every breath. My thoughts spiral, the edges of my vision blurring, my heart pounding wildly against my ribs. What is this? A moment ago, just a moment ago, Aerys was right beside me, laughing, talking, her presence so real, so tangible. And now she's gone, as if she were never here at all. Aerys promised she would always be here to protect me, that she would never let anything happen to me. But where is she now? I am alone, wandering down this dark, endless path, my footsteps swallowed by the eerie hush of the night. The air bites at my skin, cold and suffocating. I have no idea where to go, no idea what might be lurking in the shadows, hiding within the dense, whispering bushes. The fog has thickened, so much so that even my catgirl eyes are nearly useless. I can't see my own feet. Everything around me has twisted into dark, shifting silhouettes, shapes that seem to breathe and move just beyond my vision. The trees loom, their gnarled branches stretching out like skeletal hands, clawing at the sky. The wind whistles through them, a mournful, ghostly wail that rises and falls like a chorus of banshees mourning the dead. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, every distant caw of a crow. Icy shivers race up my spine. My skin prickles with goosebumps, and my breath catches in my throat, tight and shallow. Eris, Eris, please, where are you? The words barely escape my lips, nothing more than a fragile, trembling whisper. Fear coils around my neck, an invisible serpent, merciless and unrelenting. Tightening, squeezing. I can't breathe. My throat burns from calling her name, over and over and over, but no answer ever comes. My heart pounds so violently. Each beat feels like a hammer against my ribs. My breath coming short, frantic gasps, ragged, uneven. No matter how much I try, I can't calm down. Panic. Pure panic. I've had panic attacks before. Plenty, actually, but nothing like this. My ears droop. My tail fluffs up, trembling uncontrollably. My whole body shakes, every muscle locked tight with panic, every nerve on fire. Just minutes ago, this garden trail felt serene and peaceful with Eris by my side. But now, without her, it has transformed into a landscape of pure dread. A place where shadows whisper, where the air presses in, where something unseen is watching, waiting. Why? Why did this happen? What did I do to deserve this? Why would Aerys leave me like this? I don't understand. I don't understand. And then, a horrible thought slithers into my mind. Wait, could it be? A horrible thought slithers into my mind. Because I'm useless. Aerys abandoned me? No. No. That can't be true. That can't be true. Aerys isn't like that. She would never. I shake my head violently, trying to banish the thought, but it lingers, gnawing, whispering, twisting. It burrows into me, digging deep, sinking into my chest like a poisonous dagger. And the worst part? The fact that I can't entirely deny it. A sharp ache blooms in my chest, deep and suffocating. My heart cracks. Tears well up. Hot, stinging, unstoppable. Before I know it, I'm sobbing. My shoulders shake, my breath hitches, my fingers clutch at my chest as if I can hold myself together. But I can't, because Aerys is gone, and I don't know if she's coming back. But, no, I have to calm down. I have to. If I can't even stand up and keep moving, then I really am useless. And I refuse to be useless. I have to keep going. I have to believe in Aerys. I grit my teeth and force myself forward, pushing one foot in front of the other. My legs feel like lead, my breathing ragged, but I don't stop. The plan is simple. Keep walking, follow the moonlight, find the main road. From there, I can look for help. Or maybe I'll even find Aerys. It hadn't taken us more than 20 minutes to get from the Adventurers Guild to the clock tower earlier, even with the stops we made. So it shouldn't take long to get back. Right? Right? That's the logic I cling to, desperately. So I walk, one foot in front of the other. The fog presses in, thick and suffocating, swallowing everything around me. It's like walking through a dream, a nightmare. To keep my focus, I count my steps out loud. 1, 2, 3, 900 in. Wait, what the hell is happening? I freeze, dread creeping up my spine like icy fingers. No, this can't be right. No matter how far I go, the scenery stays the same. The same trees, the same bushes, the same endless fog-choked path. It's looping, like a twisted horror game. The world resets with every step. I could walk forever and never escape. My chest tightens painfully, my breath coming in shaky gasps. Why? Why is there no end to this place? What kind of hellish trap have I stumbled into? No. This isn't happening. I whisper, gripping my messer sword so tightly that my knuckles ache. My mind scrambles for answers, clawing at possibilities, searching for something, anything that makes sense. Then, a single explanation rises to the surface. Magic. Could it be a spell? A trap? But what kind of magic? Think, Felicia. Think. I bite my lip hard, forcing my panic aside. Teleportation? A looping spell? Maybe I triggered something when I stepped on a specific leaf or crossed an invisible boundary. That would explain why Aerys and I got separated. Yes, that has to be it. Which means Aerys didn't abandon me. She's probably looking for me right now. Or worse, she could be in danger herself. The realization hits like a punch to the gut. But even knowing this, I still don't have a plan. I still don't know what to do. Damn it. I curse under my breath, frustration and fear pressing in from all sides. The darkness tightens, the fog choking the space around me. It feels like I'm being swallowed whole by the terror that I might never escape. Even so, I keep trudging forward. even though deep down I know it's probably pointless. Each step feels heavier, exhaustion pressing down on me, made infinitely worse by my utterly abysmal stamina. Do I really have to wait until morning for this nightmare to end? I mutter, frustration bubbling up alongside my fatigue. My voice sounds small, swallowed by the oppressive mist, as if the very air refuses to carry my words. Then, something moves. A shadow slinks through the fog, shifting just beyond the veil of gray. Shit, what now? I whisper, my pulse spiking like a shock to the system. The movement sends a jolt of adrenaline through me, my breath hitching, my heart slamming against my ribs, each beat loud and frantic, like it's trying to punch its way out of my chest. My grip tightens around my sword, the blade quivering in my trembling hands. Moonlight catches the steel, flickering off its edge in fleeting flashes like tiny warnings. I brace myself, every muscle coiled, every nerve screaming. It's just a tree, right? Yeah, it's probably just a tree swaying in the wind. I tell myself that. I want to believe that. But then, the shadow moves again, and then, rustling, closer and closer. The dread clawing up my spine tightens its grip, locking every vertebra in place. My mind races, desperately trying to rationalize what I'm seeing. No, it's not a tree. It's moving too deliberately, too alive. It's a creature, a freaking creature. Icy fear wraps around me like a noose, my knees threatening to give out as I watch the thing emerge, its form slowly taking shape. Its silhouette grows clearer. A round body, long ears, twitching, bounding ever closer through the fog. Please, don't be a monster. Please, please, please. I hold my breath, my heart hammering against my ribs, each beat a desperate plea. And then, the mist shifts. A shadow emerges. I brace myself, muscles tensed, sword raised, every nerve on edge. But then, relief. A shaky breath escapes me, my body trembling from the sheer force of my panic. Oh, thank God. I murmur, my voice still quivering. It's only a horned rabbit, a small one, no bigger than a beaver, covered in soft, fluffy fur with wide, innocent eyes. It's so ridiculously cute that, for a second, I actually want to pet it. The rabbit stops in front of me, tilting its head, sniffing the air. Its tiny nose twitches adorably. And suddenly, I feel almost silly. A nervous chuckle slips out, a small, tired smile tugging at my lips. And Mr. Rabbit, do you know where Eris is? I ask, half joking. The rabbit doesn't move. It just stares at me, unblinking. I tap my forehead, chuckling awkwardly. Ah, silly me. You're just a cute little monster. How could you even understand me? But then, a thought hits me like a lightning bolt. Wait, what if it can understand me? This is a fantasy world, after all. Maybe, just maybe, this little guy could lead me out of here. Clinging to that wild hope, I try again. Mr. Rabbit, can you show me the way out? Nothing. The rabbit's unblinking gaze stays locked onto mine. It doesn't budge. It doesn't twitch. A cold prickle of unease runs down my spine. The silence is deafening, too still, too unnatural. Something isn't right. And then, Eris's words crash into my mind like a warning bell. Be careful. Don't let their cuteness fool you. They're E-rank monsters and can easily take down a careless adventurer. My breath catches in my throat. The rabbit's eyes, they flash red. Deep, angry, murderous red. My heart stops. Shit. I yelp, stumbling backward. With a bone-chilling screech, the rabbit lunges, its horns suddenly extending and spinning like a deadly drill, slicing through the air with terrifying speed. I barely raise my sword in time. Clang! The impact rattles my bones, sending a shockwave of force through my arms. My blade quivers, the vibration numbing my grip. I almost drop it. Almost. But I hold on. Somehow, I'm still standing. Damn, it's strong. I gasp, forcing my stance to steady. My pulse thunders in my ears, my eyes darting to track the creature. It's fast. Too fast. It bounces around at ridiculous speeds, repositioning, preparing for another attack. I grit my teeth, adjusting my grip. All right, I got this. I whisper, trying to steady my breath. The creature is quick, but I can see its movements. After all, reaction speed is my highest stat. If I stay calm, if I strike at the right moment, maybe, just maybe, I can kill it before it kills me. But then, the rabbit stops, and everything takes a horrific turn. The rabbit, it's no longer a rabbit. Not a rabbit. Nope, not anymore. A wave of nausea washes over me as the rabbit's body convulses, jerking and twisting in ways that shouldn't be possible. Pop, crack, its bones snap, its neck contorts grotesquely, twisting at an angle no living creature should survive. My stomach lurches. What the actual hell? Then, a wet, tearing sound. The rabbit's flesh splits open, peeling back like a grotesque mask. From within the gory mess, something crawls out, spindly, jagged legs, twitching, writhing, moving with a mind of their own. I freeze, horror rooting me to the spot. The rabbit's entire form unravels, morphing before my eyes, flesh peeling away to reveal the true nightmare within. No longer a rabbit, but a spider. A massive, grotesque, monstrous spider. Its black, hairy body bristles, its long, needle-like legs stretching as if relishing their newfound freedom. And then, 8 glowing, menacing red eyes lock onto me. And it keeps growing. Its body swells, twisting, towering, blotting out the moon itself. A nightmare given shape. A twisted abomination that should not exist. I collapse to my knees, paralyzed, frozen. My limbs turn to ice, my breath catches, and my heart, dear God, my heart, is slamming so hard against my ribs that it feels like it's trying to break free. Move, Felicia. Get up. Move. I keep telling myself, over and over, I need to run. I need to survive. But I can't move. I'm trapped in its gaze, a helpless insect caught in a spider's web. The monster's shadow engulfs me, stretching over me like a shroud. Thick, foul-smelling saliva drips from its monstrous fangs, splattering onto my clothes, soaking me in dread. Then, it lunges. A maw of massive, serrated mandibles surges toward me. No! I squeeze my eyes shut, my entire body locking up, every muscle screaming in terror. This is it. The end. I can already see it happening. The crunch of bones. The sickening tear of flesh. The abyssal horror of being swallowed whole by this nightmare made real. But nothing happens. My eyes snap open. My hands, trembling, shaking, but still there. I'm alive? My heart hammers in confusion as I twist my head, expecting to see the beast looming over me. Instead, it's retreating. The monstrous spider quivers, stepping back, its massive form shuddering as though paralyzed with fear. And then, I see her. A girl stands between me and the beast. A catgirl. Short white hair. A flowing black dress. Her arm raised, graceful, yet commanding. Who is she? She doesn't hesitate. Her fist clenches. Pop. The spider explodes. Its grotesque form bursts into a swirling mist, vanishing into the night air as though it never existed. What? I stare, my jaw hanging open. What kind of power is this? She didn't just kill it. She erased it. Like it was nothing. Thank you. I stammer, my voice shaky, still riding the edge of adrenaline and disbelief. But then, I take a closer look, and my heart stops. This catgirl, her hair, her body, she's me. Or rather, the real Felicia. Are you, Felicia? I whisper, my voice cracking with disbelief. She turns toward me, and I gasp. She looks identical to me, yet different. Her eyes glow red and unnatural, piercing crimson so intense that it sends a chill slicing down my spine. And then, I see them. Cracks. Faint, eerie fractures running along her skin, like shattered glass holding itself together. Gulp. I swallow hard, my body locking up all over again. I wait for her to say something, anything, but she doesn't speak. She just glides toward me, her movements fluid, almost divine, like a phantom drifting through the night. Her black dress flows around her, weightless, shifting like the robes of a goddess. She stops right in front of me, and then she sighs, raises a single finger, and flick. Her fingertip barely touches my forehead. Yet, it feels like a cannon blast. I am hurled backward. The world around me shatters, warping, twisting into an explosion of light and darkness. A sharp gasp tears from my throat as I collapse on a solid ground, my legs giving out beneath me. Huh, I'm still here? What's going on? Impossible. A man's voice roars, laced with fury. How did she escape the nightmare flower's effect? What? My head snaps upward and my stomach plummets. A group of men surrounds me. And among them, fuck, it's them, the bastards from the tavern. The ones who chased me yesterday. The ones who wanted me to be their playthings. A chill rakes through me, my pulse hammering as their leering faces close in. One of them, the bearded one, steps forward, smirking. She must have some special ability or something, he muses, his voice making me nauseous. And in his hand, a flower, black, glowing. Its eerie aura seeps into the air, slithering over my skin like cold, invisible tendrils. I'm shaking, violently. Every inch of me trembles, as if my body is about to collapse beneath the sheer weight of my fear. My heart slams against my ribs, erratic, wild, like a trapped bird throwing itself against the bars of its cage. Because it's them, those monsters. The burly brute, his beard a filthy tangle, his yellowed teeth gnashing as he grins. The tall, skeletal one, slick back hair plastered to his scalp, his crooked teeth gleaming in the dim light like jagged knives. Their twisted faces burn into my mind, their very presence suffocating. And behind them, a pack of at least 10 others, each one vile in their own way, all radiating the same sickening, predatory hunger. They're human, but their eyes pierce through me, gleaming with cruel amusement and wicked intent, more monstrous than any beast. It's like they're peeling me apart, savoring my fear the way vultures circle a dying creature. Their stares dig into my skin, stripping me down to nothing. I'm not a person to them. I am prey, caught, cornered, helpless. My legs buckle, my breath catches, and an icy dread spreads through me like poison in my veins. Then, I see it. In the burly man's oversized, filthy hand lies something delicate and haunting. A black flower, black as the void. My breath hitches. Eris's words flash through my mind. We just talked about this. No. In nightmare, orchid. The name forces its way out, my lips trembling around the syllables. The bearded man's grin widens, grotesque, splitting his face far too wide. Oh, so the little kitty knows what this is, he mocks, his voice gravelly and dripping with malice. He twirls the flower between his thick fingers, its eerie glow casting a sickly sheen on his skin. You're smarter than you look. That's right. This is a nightmare orchid. Beautiful, isn't it? A single sniff of its pollen, and it'll show you things so horrifying you'll wish you were dead. He pauses. Then his grin twists, turning into something darker, hungrier. But how the fuck did you wake up? That? I don't know. It wasn't me who broke free. It was the other Felicia, the real Felicia. And Aerys. I spin around frantically, searching for her, my pulse roaring in my ears. And then, my world stops cold. She's there, right behind me, standing completely still. Her expression is empty. Her chest rises and falls mechanically, a hollow rhythm, like she's nothing more than a lifeless doll. No. I stammer, stumbling toward her. I grip her arm tightly, shaking her with everything I have. Aerys, please wake up. Please wake up. Her body sways limply under my frantic shaking, like a puppet with its strings cut. But she doesn't respond. Not a single flicker of recognition. She's not going to wake up, little kitty. The bearded man's voice slithers into my ears, a low, guttural growl. I whirl back to him, and his grin only grows darker, more menacing, more predatory. Hee, a chuckle, low, amused, sickening. Without the antidote, or my permission, she's gone. He tilts his head, watching me with mocking amusement. Bet that bitch is having some sweet dreams right about now. No, the word barely escapes my throat. A twisted cackle rises from the tall, slick-haired man. But Dylan, why the hell did this chick shake off the flower's effect so fast? It's been, what? A few seconds. A few seconds? Dylan, the bearded bastard, shrugs. Beats me. His voice is light, casual, infuriatingly amused. Like I said, she must have some special ability or something. Wait, could it be magic? The skeletal man frowns, eyes narrowing. Dylan rubs his chin, studying me with newfound intrigue. Nah, that's not possible. I barely hear them anymore. Because seconds. They're saying it's only been seconds since the flower took effect. But that nightmare, it wasn't seconds. It was hours. Endless. Excruciating. Hours. Wandering alone in suffocating darkness. Knotted by terror. Unraveling piece by piece. It felt like a lifetime. An eternity. And yet, as horrible as that was, this is worse. This is the real nightmare. What the fuck do you want? The scream tears from my throat, raw and desperate. The bearded bastard's lips curl into a grotesque sneer. Oh, we want a lot. His voice drips with mocking amusement, as if he's enjoying the way my fear seeps into the air. Because of that fucking Gordon guy, we couldn't finish what we started last time. But now, his tongue drags across his cracked lips, the motion so vile, so revolting, that my stomach lurches. Now you're in our hands. Ah, can I have some fun with her? The slender one chimes in, his gaze crawling over me like a swarm of cockroaches. Just a little bit. No, you idiot, the bearded man snaps, shooting him a glare. Then, his expression twists into something even uglier. We sell her. Someone as pretty as her is worth millions. The nobles will pay hefty for this. What? Millions? The word slams into me like a punch. So that's why they're here. That's why they're after me. They want to kidnap me, sell me off to some noble bastard like livestock. A slow chill creeps up my spine, making my breath hitch. Well, if you want to have fun, we can have the other one, the burly one says, glancing toward Eris. Oh yeah, that bitch is kinda hot, the slender man muses. His eyes gleam with sick pleasure. Not as pretty as the white one, though, but I like it. I'm gonna make her my personal slave. He. Their laughter erupts, grotesque and twisted. Then, steel flashes. Blades are drawn, brandished, glinting menacingly in the faint moonlight. They creep forward, slow and calculated, like predators savoring the moment before they strike. Come, little kitty. One of them coos, his voice mockingly sweet. Come to Papa. I stagger backward, my legs trembling so violently I nearly collapse. Fuck. What do? I don't know. Stay back. Stay away. The words tumble out of me in a panicked rush, my voice cracking, raw and desperate. I bare my teeth, a feral hiss escaping me instinctively. My grip tightens around my messer sword, my knuckles turning bone white. Don't you dare come closer. Don't you fucking dare. But they don't stop. They don't even flinch. Oh, the little kitty's angry. The big bastard grins, his amusement only growing. Once we capture her, we'll have to teach her some discipline. Nah, no need. Isn't this turning you on? One of them snickers. Don't you love a little chick with some fierce fighting spirit? Right. And when you break them, when you make them beg, it's even better. The burly man licks his lips again, eyes gleaming with hunger. Man, are you sure we want to sell this one? Second by second, they creep closer. Their heavy boots scrape against the ground, the sound dragging through the air like a blade against stone. Their laughter is low, guttural, dripping with malice, stretching into the night like the whisper of something foul and rotting. Their grins widen, yellowed teeth flashing, their eyes gleaming with predatory hunger. They're predators, and I'm the prey. I glance around frantically, my heart pounding, a drumbeat of panic hammering against my ribs. No escape, no miracle, just me, just them. Still, I stand. My legs feel like lead, the weight of terror pressing down, threatening to buckle beneath me. But I force them to stay firm. My grip on a messer sword is slick with sweat, my knuckles trembling so violently that the blade wavers. But I don't drop it. I can't, even though I'm shaking, even though my heart is beating so wildly it feels like it might burst, even though a suffocating darkness claws at the edges of my mind, whispering that it's already over. I refuse to let go, because I know what I must do. I have to fight. Yes, I will fight. The thought is almost laughable, almost. After all, what chance do I have? I'm outnumbered, outmatched. I have neither the strength nor the magic to tip the scales in my favor. But I refuse to crumble. I'll fight, even if it's futile, even if the only thing I achieve is a fleeting sense of defiance before the end. Because I won't let them take me. Not my body, not my dignity, not my soul. I will not let them drag me into their pit of depravity. If I can, if I'm lucky, I'll cut down one. Maybe two. The more, the better. If I fail, I'll leave them with scars, wounds that will remind them of me. Even a tiny scratch will be enough. I'll make them bleed. I'll make them remember me. And when the inevitable comes, when their filthy hands of fate close around my throat, I'll deny them their prize. I'll turn this blade inward, spill my own blood before they lay a single hand on me. I'll ruin myself before they can. Because death doesn't scare me. Not anymore. Not when I've already crossed that line once. And just like that, a cold thought, razor sharp, slices through the haze of fear. For a single moment, my trembling ceases. My breath steadies just enough for me to think. But then, a pain far worse than fear clenches around my chest. Eris, what will happen to her when I'm gone? The men's jeering, their leers, their laughter fade into the background as a darker, deeper dread chokes me whole. My mind conjures horrors I can't unsee. They'll lay their dirty hands on her. They'll tear her apart, piece by fragile piece. Rage floods my veins, a venomous fire boiling through my limbs, erasing the fear, erasing the doubt. I bite down on my lip, hard enough to taste blood, forcing the images away. I don't know what I can do, because I'm more than useless. But, until my final breath, I will do whatever it takes to protect her. It may not make a difference, but at least I'll know I did everything I could. After all, she's done so much for me. She saved me from the dungeon. She gave me shelter, food, kindness. She didn't have to. She owed me nothing, but she did anyway. She's the nicest person I've ever met. And the time I had with her, too short, far too short. I wanted more. I wanted to stay by her side longer, to hold her hand, to laugh and share meals together, to see the world inside the dungeons, to explore the unknown with her. But that dream will remain a dream. Even so, I'm grateful. Meeting her, knowing her, it was enough. So, I'll give her one last gift. My life for hers. I tighten my grip on the Messer's sword, its edge gleaming, like the blade is responding to the fire burning in my chest. The laughter grows louder. The men draw closer. Their shadows tower over me. And still, I stand. Then, with a feral scream, raw, unrestrained, I hurl my voice into the void. Come, get me if you can, you pieces of shit. The force of my voice rips through the night, a primal cry that drowns out their laughter for a fleeting moment. And goddamn, that felt good. That felt right. This is what it means to stand your ground, to spit in the face of death. Hell yeah, I dragged the last remnants of mana from my core, forcing it to ignite. As expected, the burning pain erupts in my chest, white hot, so sharp it nearly drives me to my knees. My vision darkens at the edges, my body screams in protest. But I don't care. Let hurt. Let tear me apart. This is my final stand. My final moment. And just then, something changes. The men freeze mid-step. Their movements halt so suddenly. It's as if they've slammed into an invisible wall. I blink, confused. They take a few hesitant steps back, their confident smirks melting away. Their faces twist, morphing from gleeful malice into something I never expected to see. Confusion. And fear. What? Fear? I swallow hard, my heart pounding, but not from panic this time. Did my war cry actually strike terror into their hearts? Am I that intimidating? Hell yeah. A slow, savage smirk curls onto my lips. I straighten, my chest swelling with defiance, and snarl, my voice cutting through the air like a blade. What's the matter? Afraid of a little kitty? Come on then. Come and get me if you dare, you cowards. The words roar out of me, raw and furious, vibrating in my chest like the growl of a cornered beast. And then, they stumble. Their retreat is more pronounced this time. Their eyes flicker with something primal, their pale faces contorted in disbelief. I am possible, the bearded man stammers, his voice quaking like dry leaves in the wind. It's how can you? W, what are you? Huh? What am I? I'm just a catgirl. A catgirl who refuses to be taken. A catgirl who refuses to break. I don't know why they're so scared, but I don't care, because hope surges inside me, wild and electric. Maybe I have a chance. Maybe my display of sheer badassery is working. Should I double down? Make an even scarier face? Bear my pointy fong? Maybe hiss a little louder for dramatic effect? But before I can act, the burly man snaps out of his daze and roars like a wounded animal. Gee, get her! Patrick! At his command, Patrick, the slender, wiry bastard, charges straight for me. His scream is blood-curdling. Rhea, he's coming. He's attacking. Fuck, I thought they were scared. Why the hell is this guy still charging me? I grit my teeth, shifting my stance, my grip tightening around my sword. Fine, if this bastard wants a fight, I'll give him one he won't forget. Raising my blade, I brace for impact, every muscle in my body taut like a drawn bowstring. This is it. One strike. I just need one good strike. But then, whoosh, something tears through the air behind me, faster than my eyes can follow. A blur of pure black, slicing through the dim light like a shadow given form. And then, splat, a wet, sickening sound echoes through the night. Patrick's head, his entire head, splits open in half. Blood erupts in a violent arc, painting the ground a grotesque splash of crimson. His body collapses instantly, like a puppet with its strings cut. Lifeless, motionless. A single, wet thud marks the end of his existence. It's over. He's dead. Just like that. Silence. A chilling, suffocating silence. The remaining men stumble back, their bravado shattered, terror carved into their faces. Gone is their smug confidence. All that's left is wide, trembling eyes and quivering lips. I stand frozen, my breath caught in my throat, my pulse roaring in my ears. What? What just happened? My heart races as I whirl around, desperate to see, to understand. And then, B.A. dump. My chest tightens. My eyes widen. Relief. Awe. Disbelief. All collide inside me at once. Eris. She's awake, and she looks furious. No, furiously cool. Her glowing eyes lock onto the men, blazing with a fierce intensity that sends a shiver slicing down my spine. Her lips curl into a snarl, fangs glinting under the dim light. And her aura, it's suffocating. Thick, dark, heavy. It churns around her, shifting like a storm on the verge of breaking loose. A tangible pressure pressing against my chest, stealing the breath from my lungs. And then, she speaks. You bastards. Her voice is low, rasping. Deadly cool. I'll kill you all. She says it like she's passing judgment. Like the words themselves are death sentences. And then, I can only watch in stunned silence as she raises one hand to her side. The air around her shimmers, warps, as though reality itself bends at her presence. Then, black mana gathers at her fingertips, a swirling, churning vortex of darkness. It twists, condenses, hums ominously, shadows pulling together, drawn into a single, deadly purpose. And then it solidifies. The blackness takes shape, forming. A sleek, pitch-black sword. A weapon born from darkness itself. And in that moment, I realize, the real nightmare isn't me. It's her. W what? As she killed Patrick. A man stammers, his voice cracking, his trembling hands struggling to grip the hilt of his sword. His wide, bloodshot eyes dart frantically between Aerys and the corpse of their comrade, sprawled lifelessly on the ground. But he's a D-rank adventurer. That's impossible. The others exchange frantic glances, their faces pale, glistening with sweat. Fear takes root. Doubt seeps in. Then, do not just stand there. The bearded leader bellows. Spittle flies from his mouth, though the shake in his voice betrays his growing panic. She's just one woman. Get her! But Eris doesn't wait. She acts. An explosion of speed, a streak of black. The first man doesn't even have time to scream. Her blade arcs through the air with haunting elegance, slicing cleanly through his neck. The sharp, wet sound of flesh and bones splitting apart fills the night. Schlick! Blood erupts in a thick, crimson arc, splattering the ground, staining the trees, drenching the horrified faces of his comrades. His lifeless body collapses, a heavy thud against the dirt, and his severed head it rolls, and rolls, and rolls, stopping at one bastard's feet. The dead guy's glassy, vacant eyes stare up at them, as if accusing them for their inaction. And with that, for a single, breathless moment, the world freezes. The men stand paralyzed, their gazes locked onto the grotesque scene before them, as if refusing to believe it's real. Then, chaos erupts. Attack her! Get here! The bearded man roars, his voice cracking under the weight of desperation. 3 men charge at once, swords raised high, their steps uneven with panic. Aerys meets them head-on. She moves like a wraith, silent, fluid, fast, and her strikes, freaking precise. Her blade clashes against their weapons. Sparks scatter into the darkness as steel collides with her mana-forged edge. With an effortless twist of her wrist, she redirects their force. And then, her blade flashes. Cleave. The nearest man's arm is severed at the joint. He screams is a shrill, agonized wail. But it lasts only a moment. Eris drives her sword straight through his chest. Crack! The sound of shattering ribs echoes through the air. With a sharp twist, she yanks the blade free. A sickening schlick. Blood gushes from the wound, and the man collapses, twitching once before falling still. The remaining 2 flank her, attacking from opposite sides in a desperate attempt to overwhelm her. But Eris doesn't even blink. With another flick of her wrist, black chains erupt from the air around her, writhing, coiling, like serpents summoned from the abyss. One chain lashes out. Snap! It coils around the legs of the man to her left. Then, it tightens. Crunch! Bones shatter. A howl of agony splits the night. And then, the chain lifts the man high up in the air, higher than the tallest tree, his soholite black against the bright silver moon for a split second. But the next second, the chain slams that guy into the ground, head face down, with the velocity of a rocket. Thwack! The impact splits his skull open like a ripe fruit, like how you throw a water balloon onto the cement ground and watch it burst. The man to her right hesitates, his face filled with terror as he watches his friend's body smashed into slush in front of him. Just for an instant. But that hesitation seals his fate. Eris spins toward him, her blade carving upward in a savage, unstoppable arc. The black edge catches him under the chin and cleaves through his skull. Schlick! His head splits open, flesh and bone surrendering with a wet, sickening crunch. Blood and viscera explode outward, splattering across Eris' face. But her expression remains cold, unfeeling. The remaining men stagger backward, their courage annihilated. Fuck! Fuck! She's a demon. She's a monster. Ay! One of them shrieked, his voice a high-pitched wail of raw terror. He drops his sword and bolts into the darkness without a backward glance. But Eris doesn't let him leave. FWIP, a black chain lashes out, slicing through the air like a viper. Crack! It strikes his skull, and his head explodes like a water balloon. Blood and chunks of bone splatter across the trees, his lifeless body collapsing mid-stride. Another man collapses to his knees, his entire body quaking. Please don't key. He doesn't get to finish. Aerys moves faster than the eye can follow, a blur of shadows and death. Her blade sings through the air. SHHHLT. The next instant, his body splits apart from his ass to the top of his head. Two perfectly cut halves. A grotesque, butchered thing. Blood sprays in a violent arc, his two halves collapsing like discarded scraps of meat. Another man raises his sword, his hands trembling. He tries to defend himself, but Eris is already upon him. With a single, fluid motion, she swings. The strike is so fast, it doesn't just sever his head, it cleaves through his weapon too. For a breath, his body remains standing, as if it refuses to acknowledge its own death. Then, it topples, dropping to the ground. By now, only a handful of men remain, and they scatter like rats into the darkness. Weapons and belongings clatter to the ground, abandoned in their blind panic. They think they can escape, but they're wrong. Aerys extends her blade to her side. Black mana churns around it, twisting, writhing, shifting, morphing. The blade fractures apart, splitting into four sleek, obsidian daggers, their edges glinting like liquid shadow. Without hesitation, she flicked her wrist. Fwish! The daggers shoot forward, faster than arrows, faster than thought. The fleeing men collapse almost simultaneously. The daggers pierce the backs of their skulls with deadly precision. They fall in unison, their bodies crumpling like discarded marionettes. Now, only one remains. The bearded, burly man. The one who had barked orders so confidently before. Now, he is alone. Aerys doesn't hesitate. A single blur, faster than blinking. One moment, she's standing across the clearing. The next, her hand clamps down on his head in an iron grip. Looks like his sentence is passed. Boom! The earth shudders as Aerys slams his head into the ground with inhuman force. The impact bursts his skull. Like an overripe watermelon, blood and brain matter explode outward, staining the dirt. The crater left behind smolders, blackened by the remnants of her mana. And just like that, it's over. Truly, utterly over. Meanwhile, I stand frozen, my breath caught in my throat as I take it all in. Aerys has annihilated them. Every single one. No one escaped. No one was spared. The scene before me is gruesome. So, freaking gruesome. Blood pools thick on the ground, reflecting the faint moonlight like a macabre mirror. The air is heavy, choked with the sharp, metallic tang of iron. It clings to my tongue with every breath, seeping into my lungs like a phantom taste of death itself. My stomach twists violently, nausea clawing at the back of my throat, threatening to spill out right then and there. And yet, it's beautiful, the way blood arced through the night. How organs spilled, how flesh gave way. It was as though Eris was painting with their lives. Her canvas? The dark night. Her brushstrokes? Swift, brutal, unrelenting. She's an artist, a painter, and her medium is death. The terror etched into the faces of her victims, the sheer desperation in their final screams before they were so abruptly silenced. It's horrifying, terrifying, yes, but it's also satisfying. Something deep within me trembles, not from fear, but from something else entirely. I gasp for air, my chest rising and falling, struggling to process what I feel. I should be disgusted. I should be horrified. I should want to turn away. But I don't. I can't, because I can't stop looking at her. Moments pass. Though they feel like an eternity, the park falls silent. The chaos, the screams, the blood-soaked carnage, all swallowed by the whisper of leaves. The wind stirs, carrying the metallic tang of blood, thick and suffocating, curling into my lungs like a phantom presence. And then Eris turns to me. Her glowing eyes are still ablaze. Blood drips from her face in slow, deliberate trails, streaking her skin like war paint. She smirks. It's faint, barely a curl of her lips. Bottom, bottom. The pounding of my heartbeat roars in my ears. Relentless, suffocating. And then I start giggling. Not a nervous chuckle. Not a fragile, uneasy laugh to stave off the fear. No, full-blown, breathless giggles erupt from me. Uncontrollable, maddening. My chest trembles. My hands shake. My entire body vibrates with an unfamiliar, electric sensation, like a foreign drug, is coursing through my veins, a dizzying, euphoric high that I can't suppress. My breaths itch. The corners of my mouth twist upward. A manic grin splits my face. Why am I smiling? Honestly, why am I smiling? What the hell? The sight before me. It should have made me retch. The lifeless bodies are scattered across the ground like broken dolls. Entrails snake across the dirt in obscene, gruesome patterns. Brains, bone shards, blood. A grotesque, mangled masterpiece splattered across the battlefield. The air is thick with the stench of iron. The oppressive, metallic tang of blood clings to my senses like a vice, choking, suffocating. I shiver. But it's not the kind of shiver that comes from fear. No, this sensation is different. It's like tickling my brain. Fuck, I'm scared, terrified even, but not of the slaughter. No, I'm scared of myself. Yes, I'm scared of my fucking self. Honestly, what the hell is wrong with me? My voice trembles, barely audible. My legs move backward, unsteady, as if trying to flee from my own body. My arms wrap tightly around my torso, as if restraining a monster inside me. No, this isn't normal. I'm trying not to feel this way. Physically trying, but it's not possible. Am I going crazy? Am I mad? Is this a side effect of the nightmare orchid? Some kind of lingering magic warping my emotions? I don't understand. None of this makes sense. I should be horrified. My knees should be buckling. My stomach should be twisting into knots. Balls should be rising in my throat. But instead, I feel none of those things. No disgust. No nausea. No revulsion. Instead, I feel elated, exhilarated, joy, pure, unfiltered joy. I'm enjoying this. No, I'm loving this. And yet, I don't understand. I can't. Everything about this reaction, everything, goes against the very core of who I thought I was. I should feel horrified. I should be nauseous. I should want to run away screaming. But I don't. Back on Earth in my past life, gore was something I couldn't handle. Not even in the slightest. Sure, I was a hardcore gamer, obsessed with action-packed games and movies, but the moment I was faced with real-life blood and violence, I crumbled. I still remember that day like it was yesterday. I was on my way to school when it happened. A car accident. A little girl's lifeless body sprawled beneath a bus, pieces of her skull and brain scattered across the pavement. Even though I only saw it for 1, maybe 2 seconds, I threw up immediately, and for days afterward, I couldn't sleep without nightmares. I couldn't even look at red meat, let alone touch it. The sight of blood was enough to send me spiraling into traumatic flashbacks. And that was the reason I abandoned med school entirely. I realized real blood, real flesh, wasn't something I could ever face again. But now, I'm standing here. Not just standing. I'm fine. And more than fine. I'm thriving. The blood-soaked scene around me feels exhilarating, like an adrenaline rush I can't escape. A laugh slips past my lips. Hollow. Foreign. Bitter. What the hell is wrong with me? This isn't just wrong. It's insane. I clutch my chest, trying to steady my breath, but my body won't stop trembling. It's as if I've become, not just someone else, but something else entirely. A monster. Is this even me? Or I freeze. Wait, is this because of the reincarnation? Is this twisted reaction tied to this catgirl body? Are these emotions, this dark, perverse joy, hers? If that's the case, then who knows what was she before? The thought sinks its claws into me, suffocating. But before I can unravel the chaos inside my mind, Aerys moves. She turns her head toward me, her glowing eyes locking onto mine. For a moment, her expression shifts. The sharp, murderous gaze softens into something I can't quite read. Concern? Confusion? With a flick of her wrist, her black sword dissolves into wisps of dark smoke, disappearing as if it never existed. And then, she moves toward me. Fast. Too fast. My pulse skyrockets. Oh no. Did she notice? Did she hear me giggle just now? Shit. Panic consumes me, gripping my chest like a vice. I step back, as if I can physically distance myself from the truth clawing at my insides. This isn't good. No, this is worse than bad. If Eris figures out what kind of person, what kind of monster I've become, she'll hate me. No, worse. She'll be disgusted. Ay, what do I do? What excuse can I possibly come up with? My thoughts spiral, frantic, desperate, drowning. But then, I'm jolted out of my panic. Before I even realize what's happening, I'm enveloped in warmth. A tight, secure embrace. Aerys. Her arms wrap around me, holding me close, steadying the storm in my chest. Her presence is a balm, soothing, calming the frantic chaos in my head. For a moment, I forget everything else. Then, her voice breaks through, trembling, raw, laced with regret. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have let you see that. I lost control. I was so angry, I didn't think about how it would affect you. You must be terrified. So that's what she thinks. Eris assumes I'm traumatized. She believes my reaction is one of fear and revulsion. A wave of relief crashes over me, washing away the tension in my chest. Phew, saved. And no, I am okay. I'm not scared. I stammer, forcing what I hope is a reassuring smile. But Eris isn't convinced. She pulls back abruptly, her hands gripping my shoulders, her eyes darting over me in pure panic. Oh no, your tail is all puffed up, and your ears, they're shaking. Her voice rises full of distress. Before I can get a word in, she's already pushing me forward. I try to protest, but, well, she's not wrong. My tail is puffed up. My ears are trembling, but not because of fear. I want to say something, anything, to ease her worry. But the sheer conviction in her voice. She's utterly convinced that she's scared me senseless. And well, that works in my favor, doesn't it? No complaints here. Yeah, all right. I nod, letting her take the lead. Eris, still frazzled, grabs a cloth and hurriedly wipes the blood from her face, frantic, almost clumsy in her rush. But her clothes are still drenched in red. Without a second thought, I pull off my cloak and thrust it toward her. Why, you can take mine, I say quickly. She hesitates, her fingers hovering over the fabric for a moment. Then, without a word, she takes it. She drapes it over herself, the oversized cloak hiding most of the mess. Thanks, Eris murmurs, her voice softer now. Her eyes meet mine, and she smiles. Not her usual confident smirk, not the sharp, battle-hardened grin, but something gentler, something real. And just like that, we turn, our footsteps quick and quiet, and rush back toward the Gilded Horns. Moments later, the walk is brisk, neither of us saying much as the adrenaline begins to ebb away. But as the chaos fades, my thoughts return. Aerys, I still can't believe it. She didn't just kill them. She slaughtered them. More than 10 men. And not just some random thugs. 2 of them were D-rank adventurers. People who, by most standards, would have been considered strong. But to her, they were nothing. She tore through them like they were mere rats, like they didn't even matter. And yet, she told me she was E-rank. She even showed me her ID. How? Unless. She lied? I swallow hard, my hands clenching instinctively. I need to know the truth. Eris. I begin hesitantly, breaking the silence. Why, you're not E-rank, are you? The question stops us both in our tracks. Eris turns to me, her expression unreadable. For a moment, she says nothing. She just stares, as if carefully weighing her words. Then, she exhales, long and slow. No, she admits, shaking her head. Her voice is low, firm. I'm not. My chest tightens. I knew it. But before I can press further, she glances around, eyes flicking to the quiet streets, the passing figures in the distance. Then, in a barely perceptible motion, she gestures subtly with her head. And I understand. We're still in public. People are nearby. Whatever secrets she's hiding, she doesn't want to reveal them here. And honestly, that's fine by me. I nod, letting the matter drop for now. It's actually better this way. I need time too. Time to process what just happened. To figure out exactly what I want to ask. When a moment comes. As we step through the doors of the Gilded Horns, a familiar warmth envelopes us, a stark, comforting contrast to the chaos we've just left behind. The scent of roasted meat and fresh bread lingers in the air, the quiet hum of conversation filling the space like a low, steady rhythm. For a moment, it almost feels like nothing has changed. Almost. Before I can take another step, a blur of energy bounds toward us. Lily, our ever-adorable sheep girl server, all soft wool and boundless enthusiasm, radiating sunshine as always. Her fluffy ears perk up as she dashes forward, her curls bouncing with each step. Eris, Felicia, welcome back, she chirps, her voice as bright as ever, paired with a smile so sweet it could probably cure ailments on the spot. Her wide, golden eyes gleam with genuine excitement as she clasps her hands together. Are you too hungry for dinner? Her infectious energy almost makes me forget the weight pressing down on my chest. Almost, because the moment her gaze lands on Aerys, the warmth in her expression flickers. The joy in her eyes shifts, morphing into something else entirely. Concern. Aerys. Lily's voice softens. What happened? Lily, sure, is perceptive. However, Aerys doesn't answer right away. She just exhales, her voice steady, controlled. Lily, could you prepare a bath for us, please? Lily blinks, startled by the abrupt request, but quickly recovers, nodding earnestly. Oh, yes. Just give me a minute, she says before darting off. Thank you, Aerys murmurs quietly. No more words are exchanged. The conversation was very brief. And with that, we head upstairs. The moment we step into our room, the tension I've been holding on seems to double in weight, pressing heavily against my chest. I drop my belongings onto the floor, barely registering the action, and collapse onto the nearest chair. My legs feel weak, my mind racing, caught in an endless loop of the night's events. The echoes of dying screams, the spray of blood, the lifeless bodies crumpling to the ground. It all replays in my mind like a cursed lullaby I can't silence. And as I think of it again, my heartbeat rises. But barely 10 seconds pass before a knock at the door shatters the silence. Rap, rap, rap. Aerys strides over to answer it. And the moment she opens the door, I freeze. It's the innkeeper, Chef Gordon. I blurt out, more out of reflex than anything, offering a nervous smile. He acknowledges me with a small nod, but his focus immediately shifts to Aerys. His gaze is sharp, unreadable, and just like that, the atmosphere grows heavier. They begin speaking in low, hushed tones, their words so quiet I can't make out a single one. But even though I can't hear them, it's obvious. This is serious. A part of me wants to listen. Curiosity burns inside me like a stubborn, relentless flame. But I bite my lip, my tail twitching restlessly, forcing myself to stay seated. After all, eavesdropping wouldn't be right, would it? And yet, a million questions swarm in my mind. Are they talking about what happened earlier? Is everything okay? Are we in trouble? A tight knot forms in my chest as my mind begins connecting dots I hadn't considered before. Aerys killed those men. No, she slaughtered them. Even though it was self-defense, wouldn't it still be considered a serious crime? After all, despite whatever crime they were trying to commit, they're still humans. And of course, they're protected by laws. Suddenly, like a bolt of lightning, a horrifying realization slams into me. Wait, the bodies. My ears flatten. My chest tightens. Panic surges through me, and my heart nearly jumps out of my chest. Fuck, the bodies. Aerys killed so many people. And yet, we didn't bury them. We didn't hide them. We didn't even try to clean up the scene. We just left them there on the ground like piles of garbage. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. A wave of nausea crashes over me. My thoughts spiral into a pit of dread. This is bad. This is really bad. What if someone finds the carnage? What if we're arrested tomorrow? Or worse, tonight? Would they even believe it was self-defense? I shake my head, trying to ground myself, but the questions keep coming, relentless and unforgiving. After all, there were no witnesses. None. It was a one-sided massacre. Would they see us as victims? Or would they see us as monsters? My breathing grows shallow, the weight of it all pressing down on me, threatening to crush me completely. It's already too late, isn't it? Too late to come back and clean up the scene. Suddenly, Eris turns back to me, her voice cutting through my spiraling thoughts. Felicia, the bath is ready. Lily is waiting for you downstairs. You can head down first, she says, her tone gentle. Gordon and I need to talk a bit more. I'll join you soon, all right? Oh, I blink, momentarily stunned. Oh, okay, I reply, nodding quickly. Then, hesitantly, but is everything all right? My voice is still shaky. Eris doesn't hesitate. Don't worry, everything's fine. She reassures me, her smile calm and unwavering. And, despite everything, I believe her. The panic still claws at my insides, but her confidence dulls its edge, if only a little. Thus, as the obedient catgirl that I am, I push myself to my feet and make my way toward the door. Still, curiosity tugs at me, like an insistent little voice whispering at the back of my mind. Before stepping out, I glance over my shoulder one last time. Aerys and Gordon remain locked in conversation, their voices still too low to hear. A quiet sigh slips from my lips. With no other choice, I leave, heading downstairs to find Lily. And just as Aerys said, Lily is already there, waiting for me. She holds a basket of soft towels and fragrant soaps, her arms full, her ever-cheerful smile lighting up the dim hallway. For now, I'll trust Aerys's words. She promised she'd tell me everything. I just have to wait. I can't just sit here and do nothing while waiting for Aerys, so I decide to wash my own hair first. The shampoo and conditioner are the same as yesterday, their familiar scent calming and relaxing as I work the lather into my hair. The warm water cascades down my back, easing the tension I hadn't even realized I was holding. But something is missing. Having someone else wash my hair just felt nicer. Yeah, I guess that's true. For some reason, I already miss the sensation of Aerys' fingers running through my hair. I miss her touch, the way she firmly held down my ears, keeping them still even when they twitched from the ticklish sensation. It was both soothing and fun in a way I hadn't expected. Thinking back on yesterday, a small smile creeps onto my lips. After all, there was a moment tonight when I genuinely believed I wouldn't return to this room again, would never get to take another bath here, never continue this strange new ice sky adventure. For a fleeting instant, I thought my life might end right there. Ah, how precious it is just to be alive. It's strange, isn't it? How something so simple can feel like a miracle when you come so close to losing it. So, regardless of whatever secrets Aerys holds or whatever she plans to tell me next, I know one thing for certain. I need to thank her first. I want to let her know how grateful I am. Just as I'm lost in these thoughts, the sound of the bathroom door opening suddenly pulls me from my reverie. Aerys, I blurt out, startled by my own outburst. I don't even know why I shout her name like that. And for some reason, my heart skips a beat when I see her step inside. Her talk with Gordon must have ended sooner than I expected. I thought it would take longer, but I'm just relieved she's here now. Hey, sorry for the wait, Aerys says as she steps into the room. Her eyes flick to my wet hair, and she tilts her head slightly. Oh, you already finished washing your hair? There's something soft in her gaze as she undresses, her movements unhurried. Her body, so familiar now after our bath together yesterday, doesn't shock me the way it did before, but my heart still races a little. Why, yeah, I answer, my voice faltering slightly. Even though I really wanted Aerys to wash my hair again, and I can already feel the urge for her magic fingers massaging my scalp, I've already done it myself. You sit down. I'll wash your hair and scrub your back too. I stand up and gesture toward the chair, eager to return the care she gave me last night. Aerys narrows her eyes slightly, then sighs, looking almost disappointed. Ah, that's too bad, she murmurs. I was looking forward to washing your hair, you know. Wait, she actually enjoys washing my hair? Oi, isn't that perfect? Actually, I stammer. I haven't applied the conditioner yet, and I think my ears still need a little help. I add quickly, my voice betraying my flustered state. Oh, that's lovely. Aerys beams at me, her smile brightening the room. She walks toward me, taking my hand and gently guiding me back into the chair. But as she runs her fingers through my hair, it feels like it's already conditioned. She murmurs, a teasing lilt to her voice. Oh no, she caught me. I freeze, panicked. What do I say now? Yeah, I just want to see if I can make it even smoother by adding more conditioner. I blurt out, grasping at anything to explain myself. Eris chuckles softly. That's the nice idea, she says with a smile. All right, let's give it a try. And with that, she begins again, her touch gentle and caring as she massages the conditioner into my hair, working it thoroughly. The sensation is blissful, and the ticklish feeling in my ears returns as she carefully cleans them. Compared to yesterday, my ears have grown more accustomed to her touch, managing to stay still for most of it. Afterward, Aerys scrubs my back, her hands soothing and skilled, moving with the same gentle confidence as before. The warmth of the water, the rhythmic motion of her hands, it's all so relaxing, so comfortable. Once she's finished, we swap places. Now it's my turn to wash her hair and scrub her back, just like she did for me yesterday. As I lather her soft, silky locks with shampoo, carefully working my fingers through the strands, I realize something. This moment, it feels natural, a strange kind of fun. Somehow, in this small, intimate act of care, the weight of everything else, the danger, the bloodshed, the unanswered questions, fades away. For now, it's just us, taking care of each other. Moments later, as we sink into the warm, soothing bathwater, I finally gather the courage to bring up the thought that's been gnawing at me ever since we left the room upstairs. The bodies. Yeah, the weight of it presses on my chest like a lead brick. I turn to Aerys, my voice barely above a whisper. Aerys, what about the bodies? She meets my gaze with a small, almost amused smile. Her expression is unreadable, her eyes calm, too calm. Silly Felicia, she murmurs, her tone light, as if I just asked about the weather. Is that really what you're worried about? I swallow hard, anxiety twisting my stomach into knots. Why, yeah. What if someone comes looking for them? We didn't hide anything, didn't cover our tracks. What if we get into big trouble? Eris tilts her head slightly, her expression not shifting in the slightest. Trouble for what? We did nothing wrong. Her voice is smooth, deliberate. It was those bastards who wanted to make us their playthings. They got exactly what was coming to them. I bite my lip, but my voice wavers. They're all dead now. There's no one left to tell the truth. If someone investigates and only sees the aftermath, how do we prove what really happened? At this, Eris lets out a low chuckle, dark and laced with something I can't quite place. Well, she muses, her lips curling into a smirk. We could always hire a necromancer. I blink. Have the dead tell their side of the story. She continues smoothly, tilting her head toward me. The dead don't lie, you know. My breath catches. Wait, did she just say? Ooh, I gasp, my eyes widening in realization. How could I forget? This isn't Earth. This is a world of sword and magic. Raising the dead to testify in an investigation isn't just some horror movie trope. It's actually possible. A shiver runs down my spine. The thought of speaking to the dead, of watching them rise, voices empty yet truthful, is both terrifying and thrilling. Necromancy, huh? My brain immediately latches onto the concept, curiosity flaring to life. Necromancers have always been one of my favorite classes in games. The idea of controlling the undead, of bending the fabric of life and death, it's fascinating. And now, to think it's a real, viable magic in this world, that's freaking amazing. Maybe I should read more about it. I wonder if the Adventurers Guild library has any books on the subject. Since we have a good relationship with the guildmaster, maybe he'll let me borrow some for research purposes? As I mentally add necromancy studies to my ever-growing list of things to do, Aerys casually drops another bombshell. That's why I talked with Gordon, she says. You probably don't know this, but aside from being a chef, he's also a necromancer. What? I nearly leap out of the water, my voice echoing off the walls. Chef Gordon is a necromancer? Yup. Aerys nods, completely unfazed by my outburst. I needed him to investigate those guys, to confirm a few suspicions I had. But she pauses, her brows furrowing for the first time. If what I think is true, necromancy won't work on them. My excitement screeches to a halt. Hey, Chuck. I blink in confusion. Wait, what do you mean? Why not? Eris clicks her tongue in irritation. TSK. I should have left at least one of them alive to interrogate. A chill crawls down my spine. What does she mean necromancy won't work? Aren't corpses just corpses? Why would they be immune? Unless something unnatural is at play. What are we dealing with? I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. Eris' expression darkens. The Crimson Order. The name alone sends an unexplainable shudder through me. I repeat it slowly, testing the weight of the words. The Crimson Order? Eris nods, her eyes narrowing. I had my suspicions at first, but then I saw their symbol, the mark tattooed on one of the guy's necks when he was approaching you. A chalice wrapped in thorns, blood spilling over, forming a sun. She inhales sharply, her fingers clenching at the rim of the bath. That's when I snapped. She clicks her tongue again, frustration evident in her every movement. Just thinking about it again makes my fucking blood boil. I gulp. This doesn't sound like some random gang or group of thugs. No, this feels bigger, darker. The way Aerys' hands tighten into fists, the way her jaw clenches. There's hatred in her voice. This isn't just a passing grudge. The Crimson Order. Who are they? What do they do to her? Suddenly, bottom. My heart starts pounding faster. Something stirs in me. Not fear, not dread, excitement. A grin almost escapes my lips. Wait. Why am I feeling this way? Why does the very mention of this group make something inside me buzz? Shit, this isn't normal. Once again, my emotions make no sense at all. So, are they some kind of underground syndicate? Like a group involved in illegal human trafficking or the slave trade? I asked, my voice hushed. The moment Aerys mentioned the Crimson Order, a dark, insidious image took shape in my mind. An organization lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings of a sinister world hidden beneath the surface. The way she gritted her teeth, the way her fists clenched at just the mention of their name, it only made my curiosity burn even stronger. After all, she hated them. She despised them enough to massacre those bastards without hesitation. Not a single one was spared. Yes, but they're far worse than just that. Aerys replies, her frown deepening. A moment of silence follows as she gathers her thoughts, her eyes dark with something unreadable. Then, finally she speaks. Felicia, do you remember what I told you earlier about our two worlds, Terra and Fawny? I blink. Huh? Terra and Fawny? The names take a moment to register before realization strikes. You mean the human world and the furin world? Eris nods. Exactly. As the memory resurfaces, I recall the tale she shared with me back on the clock tower when the sun was setting, painting the sky in gold and crimson. Once long ago, humans and furins were never meant to meet. Terra was the domain of humans, while Fawny belonged to the beast folk. Two entirely separate worlds, each existing in isolation. That is, until one day a dungeon gate opened. A bridge formed between these two realms, and in an instant, the balance of both worlds shattered. What followed was war. A brutal, relentless conflict that raged for centuries. Humans and furins, two species that had never known each other's existence, were suddenly forced into a bloody struggle for dominance, land, and survival. But, despite the horrors of that war, peace was eventually forged. A fragile, hard-won coexistence emerged from the ashes. Over time, both races learned to share their worlds, to build something greater together. That was the history Aerys had told me. But now, what does this have to do with the Crimson Order? I asked, my brows furrowing. Her question earlier had felt completely out of place, and I can't help but wonder, how could an organization as vile as this one be connected to the very foundation of our world? Aerys closes her eyes and leans back, letting out a slow, deliberate breath. It has everything to do with them, she finally says, her voice lower now, heavier, Even though Terra and Fauni are at peace, there are still those who refuse to accept it. I stiffen. Wait, are you serious? There are people actively trying to destroy that peace. A cold chill trickles down my spine. Of course, I knew there were still places where tensions lingered, where wounds from the past had yet to fully heal. Some towns weren't as open-minded as Mistvale, where humans and furins lived together in harmony, working side by side, sharing meals, laughing as friends, even forming families. I had assumed the worst of those tensions were behind us, that whatever lingering hostility remained was nothing more than fringe hatred, isolated and weak. But this is something else entirely. Eris opens her eyes, and for the first time, I see it, pure hatred burning in them. That hatred is the very foundation of the Crimson Order, she says, her voice cold and sharp as steel. They exist to tear this peace apart. I swallow hard, gulp, and then, slowly, Aerys begins to explain. The Crimson Order, also known as the Order of the Blood Sun, a group so vile, so deeply rooted in hatred, that their existence alone is enough to make my skin crawl. They were founded long ago, Aerys murmurs, her voice laced with disdain, by powerful knights, men who once fought for the human side in the ancient war against the furin. At first, these knights were simply warriors bound by duty, but their hatred ran deeper than the battlefield. To them, coexistence was unthinkable. Their belief was absolute. Humans are the chosen race, a superior, sacred bloodline, gifted by the creator gods, destined to rule the land, to tame and conquer nature itself. And to these knights, anyone with beast-like traits, the furins, were unnatural, lesser beings, abominations. They never even tried to understand us, Aerys continues, her lips curling in disgust. They looked at our ears, our tails, our claws, and instead of seeing people, they saw something grotesque. Something that shouldn't exist. The thought makes me shudder. And then she lists their twisted reasoning. Each sentence, each dehumanizing thought they harbored toward furins, sends another sharp chill down my spine. Why do these creatures have animal ears? Are they born from humans, mating with beasts? What kind of unnatural thing is this? Are they cursed by the devil? They must be cursed, right? The more she speaks, the more my stomach twists. Their logic was simple, cruel, and deeply flawed. Since humans were superior to animals, and furins shared traits with animals, then surely furins were lesser too. No different from wild beasts or monsters. No more than livestock. I swallow hard, nausea creeping in. Eris exhales sharply, shaking her head. It's like taking the finest wine and mixing it with filth in their minds, she says bitterly. They believe sacred human blood must never be tainted. That's why their symbol is the blood chalice. It represents their obsession with purity and their supposed superiority. I feel a chill crawl up my spine. Even though I know this world isn't perfect, even though I knew there were people who still harbored hatred toward furins, hearing it so clearly, so plainly spoken, makes my skin crawl. And then, Eris speaks again. Her voice is lower now, darker. There's more, she says. Do you know why furins make up the majority of sex slaves? Bottom. My heartbeat stutters. The question slams into me like a punch to the gut. I stare at her wide-eyed. What? I stammer, my throat suddenly dry. Where the hell did that come from? For a moment, I don't know how to answer. Eventually, I manage to blurt out, I'm not sure. Is it because we're more beautiful? It's the only answer that makes sense to me. Because, yeah, cat girls are cute. Wolf girls are beautiful. Fox girls have their own charm, too. I like fox girls a lot. But less than cat girls, of course. Still, as soon as the words leave my mouth, I know that's not it. And suddenly, I'm not sure I want to hear her answer. Then, just as I feared, Eris's response only deepens my horror. Her voice is grave, each word sinking into me like a weight dragging me down. Because, in their tradition, furins aren't considered people at all, she says, her tone sharp with barely concealed disgust. Among many noble families, a husband is expected to be faithful to his wife. He's forbidden from laying with another woman. Unless, of course, it's a furin. They believe it doesn't count as cheating if it's not with a real person. I feel my stomach churn. A sickening wave of nausea rises in my throat. To them, furins are nothing more than animals. Not human, not worthy of rights, not even people. And suddenly it all clicks. That's why those men targeted me and Aerys. That's why they planned to sell us. Because to them, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly acceptable industry in their eyes. A twisted, vile trade where no one sees anything wrong. My hands clench into fists. Wait, my voice is shaking now as the realization hits like a hammer. If I remember correctly, all those men were human. I gasp, and they wanted to sell us to nobles. Eris nods solemnly. Exactly. That, plus the tattoo I noticed on them, makes me almost certain they were members of the Crimson Order. A heavy silence settles between us. The weight of it is suffocating. At last, I find the courage to speak. But even so, my voice is quieter now, yet thick with frustration. Can't the guilds do something? What about the laws? Why do they allow this to continue? Why let these people keep committing such horrible crimes? I can't understand it. I don't want to understand it. How can a world that recognizes furins as people still allow this to happen? Aerys meets my gaze. For the first time tonight, she looks tired. Well, she begins quietly. It's a lot more complicated than you think. What? My anger flares. How complicated can it be? Furins are recognized by law, right? Crimes against us should be treated the same as if they harmed a human. And surely, I press on, desperate for a logical explanation, the law forbids forcing anyone into slavery, right? Aerys lets out a slow, bitter sigh. Yes, she admits. The law does prohibit forcibly turning someone into a slave. Anyone caught in the act would, theoretically, be punished severely. She pauses. Then, she closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and says something that sends ice down my spine. But it's not illegal to own a slave. My breath catches. Eris opens her eyes again, and I hate the look in them. That weary, exhausted acceptance. Like she's explaining something so obvious, something so hopelessly ingrained into this world that it's futile to fight. And once someone already owns a slave, she continues, her tone flat. How can you prove that the situation was illegal? That it wasn't consensual? No one listens to a slave's testimony. I feel sick. No. She keeps going. On top of that, practically every noble house owns furin slaves, she says, shaking her head. The demand never disappears. As long as there's a market, there will be traffickers. And even if the guilds want to fight it, some of these noble families are too powerful, too big to touch, too dangerous to go against. Her words lodge in my throat like a blade. She pauses, and I can feel my pulse pounding in my ears. I want to argue. I want to scream. I want to believe this world is better than that. But I can't, because deep down, I know she's telling the truth. So basically, I whisper, my voice barely audible over the gentle ripples of the bathwater. The law exists, but it's powerless. It changes nothing. Eris exhales heavily, closing her eyes for a brief moment before nodding. Yep, that's exactly it. Her words settle over me like a suffocating weight. So, in the end, as long as these criminals aren't caught red-handed, they'll always find a way to slip through the cracks. And that means, for years, for centuries, countless furins have been forced into slavery, their lives shattered beyond repair. Endless catgirls, fox girls, wolf girls. My heart clenches. My ears droop. My hands ball in a fist beneath the water, and before I know it, my eyes are stinging with unshed tears. I think about them. About those who were never saved. About those who lost everything. A world where they were hunted, stripped of their freedom, their voices ignored, their pain unseen. And yet, people still pretend everything is fine. Well, at least Mistvale is safer than most places, Eris remarks after a moment, her voice softer now. Mainly because the guild master here is a furin. I sniff, quickly wiping my eyes before the tears can spill. Yeah, I nod. I hadn't really thought about it before, but now that I do, I realize just how lucky we are to be living here. Guildmaster Carlagen. He must have worked hard to keep Mist Vale safe for furins. Maybe, thanks to him, this town has become one of the few places where we can live without fear. A rare sanctuary. Eris suddenly swims closer, reaching out to take my hand. Her touch is warm, steady. Felicia, she says gently, her fingers squeezing mine. When I'm not around, please try not to stay out too late. And if you ever notice anyone suspicious, tell Carl or Gordon right away. Okay. I meet her gaze and nod firmly. And then, I promise. Reflecting on everything that's happened tonight, I begin to truly grasp the reality of this world. The ugly reality I have been oblivious to until now. Discrimination still exists, even in a world of magic. In some ways, it's even worse than back on Earth. Well, I'll just have to be more cautious from now on. So, I begin deciding to change the subject. Is that why you hide your true identity? Aerys blinks. Are you like an undercover agent or something? Secretly working to take down criminals? As the words leave my mouth, I start piecing everything together. It makes sense, doesn't it? Aerys must be some undercover catgirl cop. She knew about those men. She probably already suspected they were part of something bigger. Maybe that's why she pretended to be affected by the nightmare orchid to draw them out. If that's the case, then holy crap, that would make her even cooler than I thought. However, Aerys suddenly looks away. Her lips part, like she wants to say something, but hesitates. For the first time tonight, I see uncertainty in her expression, and for a split second, I catch a glimpse of pain in her eyes. Oh, my heart sinks. I was wrong, wasn't I? Aerys, I ask quietly, my curiosity wavering. She exhales. Then, in a low voice, she admits. Actually, that's not the reason I hide my identity. She pauses. The hesitation lingers too long. She bites her lip, her brows furrowing ever so slightly. I can't tell you yet. I see. This isn't good. I've touched a wound, haven't I? I shouldn't have pride. It's okay, I say softly, offering a small, reassuring smile. You don't have to tell me everything if you're not ready. Eris blinks at me, surprised. But I trust you, I say simply. Her breath hitches, and in that moment, I see it. Relief, like a flicker of light breaking through the dark. I see the way her shoulders relax just a bit. The tightness in her gaze eases. She was afraid I would push, wasn't she? Afraid I would doubt her. But how could I? Eris has given me a home. She's protected me. She's been nothing but kind to me. She saved me twice. Once in the dungeon, and again tonight. If she has a secret, if she has something she can't tell me, then fine. Because who am I to judge? I've been hiding things, too. I never told her I used to be a man. I never told her I was from another world. I lied about losing my memories. Yeah, I'm not in any position to demand the truth from her. Is that really okay? She asks, her voice uncertain. I nod. Yeah, absolutely. Just tell me whenever you feel comfortable. If you never want to tell me, that's fine too. Eris stares at me for a long moment. Then, she smiles. A small, soft, grateful smile. Thank you, Felicia, she murmurs. And just like that, the tension between us melts away. I feel like I can breathe again. But at least, I add quickly, my tail twitching with renewed curiosity. Would you tell me your adventurer rank? Please? I'm dying to know. I'm so curious. Eris giggles. A genuine, light-hearted giggle that sends small ripples across the water. Hee, I'm actually A rank. What? A rank? You're not S rank. I nearly jump out of the bath. All of that insane speed. That inhuman strength. That blood-drenched, monstrous combat performance earlier. And she's telling me she's only A rank. How the hell does that make any sense? Eris stifles another laugh at my reaction. No. I'm not that strong yet, she insists, waving a hand dismissively. Then, her gaze softens. She leans back, exhaling slowly, her blue eyes turning hopeful. She lifts a hand, watching the bathwater ripple between her fingers. But one day I will be, and when that time comes, I'll finally be able to enter that dungeon. She pauses, and I'll be able to see my father again. After our bath, We return to the same place as last night, the roof of the Gilded Horn, each holding a steaming cup of chocolate milk. The wind carries a crisp chill, making the warmth of the cup even more comforting as I cradle it in my hands. There's something undeniably soothing about sitting under a starry sky, sipping something sweet. Now I get it. This is part of Eris's nightly ritual, a quiet moment to unwind beneath the moonlight. And now that I've tried it myself, I can fully understand why. Up here, everything feels far away. The streets below, the blood-soaked horrors of the night, even the worries that gnaw at the edges of my mind. All of it seems so distant. For just a little while, it's as if the world shrinks away, leaving only the two of us beneath the endless sky. The stars flicker like candle flames against the vast black expanse, and I breathe in the cool night air, letting it settle the unease still lingering in my chest. Peaceful. That's what this moment is. As long as I'm here, Felicia, I'll protect you, Aerys murmurs, her voice soft as the wind. There's nothing to worry about. And in, I nod, leaning against her shoulder. The warmth of her presence is reassuring, grounding. Thank you, Aerys, for looking out for me. She hums in response, her thumb idly stroking the rim of her cup. We're still waiting for Gordon to return. Right now, he's checking to see if necromancy will work on the corpses of those thugs. It's a long shot, but if he can extract any information from them before their souls disappear, we might finally get a lead on the Crimson Order. In the Eldenwald Kingdom, this organization is considered one of the greatest threats to public safety, a terrorist group that thrives in the shadows, operating under false identities and hidden dungeon outposts. They're ghosts. Whenever a member is captured or killed, a curse activates within minutes, destroying their soul and preventing necromancers from reviving or interrogating them. That's how they remain untouchable. No witnesses, no proof, no trail left behind. They're monsters in human skin, willing to corrupt even their own souls for the sake of their twisted ideology. It's sickening. I take another sip of my chocolate milk, my fingers tightening around the cup as I push the thought away. Then, Eris moves. She turns her head slightly, her fingers tightening around mine. Felicia, she says gently, but there's a weight to her voice, something serious lurking beneath the surface. I look up, meeting her gaze. Her eyes shine in the moonlight, and for some reason, my chest tightens. May I ask you something? I blink, my tail twitching slightly. Of course, I say automatically. Aerys holds my gaze for a long moment before continuing. You don't have to answer if you don't want to. She pauses. I won't blame you. For some reason, that only makes my stomach twist even tighter. The air shifts. My heartbeat quickens. She's never looked at me like this before. Serious. Focused. Almost piercing. What is this? Was she about to ask me? Did I do something wrong? Did she notice something? A million thoughts race through my head, but before I can make sense of them, Eris speaks. Her voice is clear, steady, unwavering. Who are you? I freeze. For a moment, I can't even breathe. I must have misheard her. That's what I tell myself. But then, she repeats it. Felicia. Her grip on my hand tightens. Who are you? It feels like a bolt of lightning has struck me. My entire body locks up in an instant. I can't move. I can't breathe. My mind is a swirling storm of panic. I desperately search for words. What do you mean? I stammer, my hands trembling. My heart is pounding so violently I instinctively try to pull away, but Eris's grip tightens. She exhales, her sharp eyes never leaving mine. Then she speaks. At first, I thought you were some lost aristocrat. The words send another wave of panic crashing over me. The dress you were wearing, the jewelry you carried, they were more extravagant than anything I've seen, even among the kingdom's royals. Your magic is unusual, too. It doesn't match any recorded data. That led me to assume you were part of some secret household, maybe one that wants to remain hidden. It would explain why there's no record of you anywhere, and why you lied about losing your memories. I stiffen, my breath catching in my throat. Wait, you knew I was lying? Eris smirks, and suddenly, I feel doom creeping in. I'm so fucked. Of course. She tilts her head, amusement flickering in her eyes. Your expression and body language gave you away. You may think you're a good liar, but you're not. I feel the color drain from my face. And then, besides, she adds with a smug grin, you just confirmed it with that last sentence. Huh? Last sentence? Wait. I replay the conversation in my head. You knew I was lying? Oh crap. My eyes widen in horror. Damn it. I walked right into that one. I slap a hand over my mouth, but it's too late. Eris's grin widens, clearly enjoying my misery. If you knew, I mutter, feeling utterly defeated, then why have you still been so kind to me? Why help me, even though I was obviously lying? I brace myself, expecting her to turn serious, maybe even angry. But Aerys softens. Hey, relax. She offers me a small smile, squeezing my shoulder. Everyone has one or two secrets, right? I understand that you can't trust just anyone from the start. That includes me. So it's fine. Her voice is so gentle that my chest tightens. Besides, she continues, the only thing that matters is that you really did need my help. And I wasn't about to leave you alone. I bite my lip, guilt pressing down on me. She's so kind. And yet, I lied to her. Took advantage of her. I'm sorry. I mumble, my ears drooping. It's okay. Then, pinch. Ow, hey. Aerys suddenly grabs my cheeks, tugging them with both hands. Huh. But to think you even forced yourself to eat those vegetables, she laughs. Very impressive. You fooled me for a second. Huh. Wait. Is she talking about the salad? Aerys blinks. A beat of silence follows. Then, wait. She gasps, her eyes going wide. You were seriously trying to eat those vegetables? You're a cat furin. Why, yeah. I mumble, averting my gaze, completely embarrassed. I really didn't know. I couldn't eat that. Aerys gawks at me. What? Now I'm even more confused. She throws her hands in the air, clearly losing it. So you really did lose some memories? Maybe even your common sense? She's so frustrated that I can't help but laugh. The tension from before? Completely gone. Aerys groans, rubbing her temples. And not only that, she mutters, you seem to be of aristocratic origin. Your hands are too smooth from manual labor. Yet you went into the kitchen and chopped vegetables like a damn professional. What the hell is that about? I grin, watching her spiral in confusion. And you were even using sword aura, she exclaims. Huh? Sword aura. I blink. What is that? Aerys stops mid-rant. She stares at me. Are you serious? I nod slowly. I've never even used a sword before. Silence. Then, Agag. Aerys groans, dragging a hand down her face. What is going on here? All right, sword aura is... She pauses briefly, as if trying to recall an exact definition. It's basically a phenomenon only someone with a very high skill level can produce. They enter a state where they become one with the sword. Now, that Aerys mentions it, I remember feeling something odd when I was chopping vegetables. I remember feeling different, like I had entered a trance-like state. The rhythm of the knife, the weight of it in my hand, the way my movements flowed effortlessly, almost unnaturally fast. My cuts were flawless, precise, instinctive. Time seemed to slow, and every slice felt perfect. Back then, I assumed it was because I'm now a cat furin. After all, cats are supposed to be fast. But was that really it? I blink. Was that sword aura? Yeah, Aerys exclaims. But you're telling me you weren't using it consciously? How is that even possible? I cross my arms, puffing out my non-existent chest. Maybe I'm just that good at cooking. Aerys stares at me for a moment, then bursts out laughing. Yeah, maybe. She concedes. Then, suddenly, she flops on her back with a dramatic groan. Aya, I don't know anymore. First, your absurd reaction speed, then your unnatural magic resistance, and now this. She throws an arm over her eyes, exasperated. Then her voice softens. And then there's the biggest mystery of all. How did you break free from the nightmare orchid's illusion? Unless you have an extremely high magic resistance, like I do, it's supposed to be impossible. She turns her head toward me, studying my face carefully. So, are you maybe hiding your power too? I stiffen. The truth is, it wasn't me who broke free from the nightmare orchid's illusion. It was the real Felicia. Somehow, She shattered the nightmare and pulled me back into reality. But how could I possibly explain that to Eris? If I told her everything about my reincarnation, about the other Felicia, it would sound completely insane. Eris watches me for a moment, then sighs. "It's okay, Felicia," she murmurs, gently squeezing my hands. "Like I said before, we all have our secrets. You don't have to tell me anything you're not ready for." Her voice is kind, understanding, but suddenly, with her free hand, she reaches forward, tucking a stray lock of hair behind my ear. And then, she leans in ever so slightly, her soft blue eyes locking onto mine. "If anything," she whispers, "it just makes me even more curious about you." Bottom. My heart skips a beat. A slow, knowing smile spreads across her lips. "And you're very easy to fluster, too." "Ah, Aerys," I groan, covering my face with my hands, my ears twitching wildly. She laughs softly, clearly amused by my reaction. Despite everything, the tension, the unanswered questions, the weight of our conversation, her presence feels grounding. Safe. For a while, we sit together in comfortable silence, sipping our warm chocolate milk, the night sky stretching endlessly above us. But now that my secret is partially out, I think it's time. I set my cup down, taking a deep breath. My fingers tighten slightly around the fabric of my clothes. "Eris, what if I'm from another world?" "Huh," she replies, staring at me with wide eyes. I didn't quite catch that. Can you say that again?" Eris tilts her head, her blue eyes locked onto mine, piercing yet unreadable. I swallow, my throat dry as sandpaper. I can't back out now. "I mean, what if I'm from another world?" My voice wavers. "What if the real me isn't Felicia at all?" A flicker of something, confusion, curiosity, crosses Eris's face. She straightens, shifting her weight so she's fully facing me, her gaze scrutinizing. "What do you mean by that?" My heart slams against my ribs. My breath turns shallow. My entire body trembles so violently it feels like I might fall apart at any moment. It's suffocating, but I have to continue. I force myself to take a deep, shaky breath. Actually, I pause, willing my body to stop trembling. "Have you ever heard of reincarnation?" Eris blinks. "Reincarnation," she echoes, brows drawing together. "You mean like souls being reborn?" I nod stiffly. And then, mustering every ounce of courage I've left, I spill everything. A long while later, "So that's how it is," Aerys murmurs at last, her fingers pressed against her chin, brows furrowed as she processes my words. "You died trying to save a girl, and then somehow you woke up in this world in her body. And tonight, she appeared in your nightmare and saved you." "Why, yeah." I nod weakly. Then silence. A long, suffocating silence. I've done it now. And I'm so fucked. Honestly, why did I even do this? Even though I've unburdened myself, the weight on my chest hasn't lifted. If anything, it's grown heavier, crushing, suffocating. I should have kept my mouth shut. Because now, what happens next? I don't want to see Eris's reaction. I can't. Will she believe me? Will she think I'm insane? If she does believe me, how will she look at me from now on? Maybe she'll hate me. Maybe she'll fear me. Maybe she'll be disgusted. After all, I'm not Felicia. I'm a stranger. A foreign soul occupying her body like some twisted parasite. That thought alone unsettles me. So how much worse will it be for Aerys? And worse yet, I used to be a man. That revelation alone could change everything. Aerys has treated me with such kindness, such warmth, because she believed I was a girl. But now that she knows the truth, my stomach twists violently. She'll be repulsed. She'll realize she unknowingly bathed with a man. She unknowingly slept beside a man. And worst of all, a man who couldn't help but steal glances. At her bare skin, at her curves, at her body. My own self-loathing crashes over me like a tidal wave. It's creepy. It's disgusting. And I feel wretched just thinking about it. I don't deserve her kindness. If Aerys rejects me, I won't blame her. I'll deserve it. And yet, it will shatter me. Because despite only knowing her for a day, one single day, we've grown so close. We've shared secrets. We've laughed together. We've fought side by side. There's something about her presence, something steady, grounding, something I desperately cling to without realizing just how much it means to me. And if I lose that, I don't know what I'll do. My mind spirals with awful scenarios. Eris turning her back on me, her eyes cold, distant, full of disgust, telling me to leave, to never return. The thought is unbearable. And yet, if that's what she decides, I'll have to accept it. I have no right to feel betrayed. I'll just be heartbroken, because more than anything, I don't want to lose her. And the idea that my confession might destroy the fragile bond we've built makes me want to curl up and scream. But then, say that again. What's the name of the thing that hit you? Eris's voice slices through the silence, shattering my downward spiral of thoughts. Her question catches me off guard. Not at all what I expected. And somehow, there's no disgust on her face. No revulsion. No horror. No anger. If anything, she looks genuinely curious. A truck. A truck hit me and killed me. I blurt out, too flustered to think. But instead of nodding and understanding, Eris's brows knit together even more. A truck? Is that some kind of giant monster? A-H-H-H. Damn it. Damn it. I forgot. This is a fantasy world. There are no trucks here. She has no idea what a truck is. No, I exclaim, shaking my head frantically. It's like a really, really big carriage. Except there are no horses or birds pulling it, and it runs super fast. It could probably carry 100 Faloan birds without breaking a sweat. It can even carry a house. I freeze. Ah, shit. That sounds even more ridiculous when I say it out loud. Aerys stares at me, clearly trying to process my nonsense. I can almost see her brain short-circuiting. No birds or horses, she murmurs. Then how does it move? Magic? Oh no, not magic gas. I blurt in desperation. Gas? Yeah, well actually oil. 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 Ugh, hi. I groan, yanking at my hair in frustration. How the hell am I supposed to explain modern technology to someone from a medieval fantasy world? But then, so, is this special oil a kind of fuel? Like how mages use magic stones to power their devices. Oh, she got it. Yes, exactly. Fuel, I yell, nearly jumping in excitement. Aerys nods, looking thoughtful. And how heavy was this truck? I am not totally sure. I rack my brain, realizing I have no clue how much an average truck weighs. Maybe 1,000 tons? What? Eris's eyes widen, reflecting the moonlight. Why is she reacting like this? Then, without warning, she reaches out and touches my head. 1,000 tons? And it hit your head? Are you serious? Did it hurt? Are you still in pain? Her fingertips graze my scalp, light as a feather. Her warmth seeps into me, and for some reason, tears spill down my cheeks. Yes, I sob, frantically rubbing my eyes. Actually, no. I died instantly, so I didn't feel anything, but still. Aerys exhales a long sigh, relieved. Still, that must have been terrifying. I'm sorry. Before I can fully process her words, she pulls me into a hug. My breath catches. My mind reels. What? Why? Why am I getting a hug now? Does she truly not hate me? Ick, why you're not mad at me? I stammer, my voice trembling as I cling to her warmth. I hid everything from you. No, silly, Aerys murmurs, her voice impossibly soft as she strokes my hair. Why would I be mad? You must have been so scared, and it must have taken so much courage to tell me all of this. I'm sorry I made you so nervous. She tightens her hold, and I practically melt into her embrace. Relief washes over me, pure, overwhelming relief. She doesn't despise me. She doesn't hate me. She's here, holding me. I'm so glad. Her acceptance feels like a miracle I never dare to hope for. And then, after a long, comforting silence, she whispers, Felicia, did you have family in that other world? My chest tightens. My fingers curl into the fabric of her shirt. I nod slowly. And in, I had an older brother and younger sister. Our parents passed away, so they were all I had. Eris nods. What about a wife? Were you married before? No. A girlfriend? No. I admit quietly. I see. Eris murmurs, pausing for a moment. Then, gently, almost cautiously, she asks, "So, do you miss them?" I swallow hard, my throat tight. Yes. My voice wavers, barely above a whisper. I thought Eris would be furious. I thought she would recoil in disgust, reject me, maybe even look at me like some kind of monster. But reality? The exact opposite. Not only was she not angry, she wasn't even slightly upset. Instead, she was understanding, patient, genuinely worried about me. Aerys is really nice, like an angel of some sort. And as I sit here beside her, warmth settling in my chest, I can't help but wonder, am I just incredibly lucky? The thought brings a small, genuine smile to my lips. But you don't seem that surprised. Huh, surprised. Aerys tilts her head, ears twitching slightly. About what? The fact that I'm from another world. I blurt out, still baffled by how casually she's taking all of this. Oh, that. Aerys chuckles and reaches over to ruffle my hair. Maybe that's because it was already one of the possibilities I considered. I blink at her, utterly stunned. She knew. Aerys laughs at my expression, clearly amused. You see, we live in a world where hundreds of new dungeons appear every day, each connected to different dimensions. So far, we've only encountered 2 worlds with thriving civilizations, but that doesn't mean there aren't more, right? The possibility of intelligent life existing elsewhere has always been on the table. It's really just a matter of time before another world is discovered. Oh, hearing her explanation, it finally makes sense. To Aerys, the idea of other worlds isn't shocking at all. In fact, she had already suspected it. But then, I was surprised when you mentioned reincarnation, though. She admits, her gaze sharpening slightly. I read about it in ancient magical texts, but I never actually believed it until now. She leans back, crossing her arms as she studies me. And even among reincarnation cases, yours is unique. Unique how? Eris tilts her head, thinking. Normally, reincarnation means being born again as a baby and starting a new life from scratch. But you woke up in an already existing body. And not just any body, the same girl you try to save. I nod, my throat tightening. And you said the other soul is always asleep? Why, yeah. I swallow hard. Did she ever try to take control? No. Or at least, nothing has happened yet. That's the truth. So far, I've had complete control. The real Felicia has never tried to take back her body. Or at least, not that I'm aware of. But still, there are weird moments. Moments where I felt emotions that weren't mine. Moments where my mind and body reacted in ways that made no sense. Like when Eris slaughtered those men. That overwhelming thrill. The strange, intoxicating rush of ecstasy that left me grinning uncontrollably. It terrified me. I was still me, and yet, at that moment, I wasn't. And then, there were the other moments. Like when I touched Felicia's dress and jewelry, only to be struck with such deep sorrow that I nearly broke down in tears. It was as if her lingering emotions were bleeding into me, whispering from the depths of this body. Of course, I've already told Eris all of this. And now, as she sits beside me, ears twitching, she exhales a deep sigh. I wish I could help, but I really have no idea what's happening inside you. Her expression softens. This is a complete mystery. I force a shaky smile. It's okay. I guess as long as this body isn't rejecting me, I should be fine, right? At that, Eris's eyes widen slightly. Then she nods. Right. That's a good sign. A quiet relief washes over her features. Still, if you ever feel anything strange, anything at all, tell me, okay? We'll figure it out together. And in, I nod, a flicker of comfort settling in my chest. But then, Eris's face turns serious again. Felicia, don't ever tell anyone else about this. A cold shiver runs down my spine. About being from another world. Keep it a secret. I gulp, the weight of her words sinking in. Right? It makes sense. If the wrong people found out, I could be captured, interrogated, experimented on. The thought alone makes my blood turn to ice. I absolutely don't want to be experimented on. I just want to live a peaceful life. Maybe explore some dungeons. Maybe have fun with Aerys and everyone else. But should I keep this from Gordon and Guildmaster Carl too? I ask hesitantly. Of course. Aerys's response is instant. I trust them, but the fewer people who know, the safer you'll be. I nod slowly. I see. A quiet moment passes. Then, I hesitantly murmur. But I have another question. Aerys tilts her head. I clutch my hands together, my gaze dropping. How did you know I wasn't a bad person? I mean, what if I was some criminal on the run? What if I was a monster pretending to be a lost girl? At that, Aerys lets out a soft, melodic chuckle. Then, her ears twitch, and her lips curl into a playful grin. You know, I just had a feeling. She reaches out and flicks my forehead gently. After all, a cat girl this beautiful couldn't possibly be evil, right? A wink. A damn wink. AF. I feel my face heat up instantly. Eris, I groan in embarrassment, hiding my face. She just laughs. See? Too cute to be evil. I pout. It's not fair if you keep teasing me like this. Eris chuckles again, her laughter soft under the night sky. Then, with a sigh, she leans back onto the rooftop, gazing at the stars above. The truth is, she murmurs, I just couldn't leave you alone. Her voice is quiet, gentle. Sure, there was always a risk you might be dangerous. But if I let that fear control me, I wouldn't be able to help anyone, right? She tilts her head, looking at me with a soft smile. And in that moment, something inside me aches. A warmth, bittersweet, and overwhelming, spreads through my chest. Right? I can't believe I'd already forgotten. That's just how Aerys is. So kind, so warm. I exhale softly and lie down beside her, letting the cool rooftop beneath me ground my swirling thoughts. Above us, the night sky stretches endlessly, a vast ocean of darkness adorned with countless silver stars. They twinkle like scattered shards of light, delicate and eternal. A gentle breeze drifts by, carrying the crisp scent of the night air, and for a moment, everything is still. Just the two of us, lying beneath the infinite sky.